What's up, guys? This is Kyle from Metal Epidemic, I swear. How's it going, everybody? It's good to see you all. Good to see everybody. Everybody's here. Everybody's awesome. Why are we listening to Cybernate on a Metal Epidemic podcast? No. Buddy Gale, thank you for the host. That's awesome of you. Oh, yeah. What's up, Raven? What's up, Buddy Gale? What's up, Pixie? Creative Minds, Moon is here too. Hello, everybody, Ravok. And we're gonna bring him in.
Fingers.
What's up, guys? Hello.
Kyle.
Yeah. Hi.
We didn't know what was happening there. We are so unprofessional.
They are in the loop, I promise. They really are.
We're just sitting in the background here like...
Right, you know what's going on?
Kyle's talking to someone.
Yeah.
What is up?
What's up?
Evening all.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Evening Twitches.
Twitches. Sup, gang? So many hosts.
Yeah.
Sitting on that one.
Ah.
That
How we all doing?
Twitches.
How's everyone in the chat?
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, gents.
Cheers, what's going on? So yeah, this is the second Metal Epidemic podcast we've ever had. I'm sure it's going to be a ton of fun. I've got two cameras going, one for OBS and one for the stream, so if I get confused, just laugh at me. Just point and laugh.
Well, you will.
And
We
Kyle?
don't know because we're looking at them, looking at us. It's the people out there that be looking at them, looking at us. That it's just gonna get confusing.
I'm lost already.
Camera's at cockeyed as well, so it just looks like he's looking at his dick.
Yeah. Especially for you, Duncan.
That's what I was hoping for, and I will tell you right now, glad that you took the effort. It's the small things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when my cockeye is concerned. I'm glad you made me admit that in public. Thank you very much,
Didn't take
Duncan.
us long to get onto Cox, did it, really?
No.
You are welcome. That is my job.
Minutes.
Derail. Hashtag derailment.
Oh,
Station
there's a
review.
follow. Thank you very much, Ross Bowie. Oh, speaking
Hey,
of Bowie, that is indeed
Ross.
the plushy cowbell.
Did someone say bow?
Nice.
Let's dance.
Ross.
Put on the red shoes and dance.
Fellow reviewer, Ross Bowie. Fellow reviewer.
Fellow reviewer.
Hi,
Oh,
Ross.
I don't
awesome.
know. I'm pointing at my phone. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's in the phone.
Now, you guys have no concept. Just look at your camera.
I
That's
know.
literally all you have to do. Look at the camera, and that's you engaging. You are engaging with your audience when you look at the camera.
Too many screens.
Director's tip 101.
It is.
Also breaking
Look
the
at the
fourth
camera,
wall.
Dave. Look at the
Yeah. Hey, listen. If I can't see the camera can't see me. Rule number one.
That's good. That's good. I like that. I'm gonna
Hey,
write that
Saf
down.
made it. Awesome. Saf made the cowbell. Yeah, Saf made it. Sent it to me from Australia. I picked it up in Los Angeles. It's a well-traveled cowbell. It's got a bit of fluff on it. Ignore that. There we go. So yeah, Demented Raven gifting subs away to Starry. Awesome. Hello, Starry. How you doing? It's good to see you.
You guys
Raven.
know, like, I
Raven.
literally feel like there's another language out there that I don't know when it comes to Twitch.
You'll get that. You
Um,
stream on Twitch every Sunday.
Yeah, but I don't interact with anyone. I just swear at the computer. I said, "Jump, you useless cunt." That's it. Button mash and swear furiously. That's what I do. People are posting things. I'm like, get the fuck it. I can't see the screen.
I need two screens, Duncan.
I need two screens.
I got three on the
Two
go.
screens, two cameras. I'm starting to see a pattern.
Three screens, Kyle.
Huh? Yeah,
Three
I got
screens?
chat over here and OBS.
He's got a
I got-
nine-string guitar.
I got you
Why are you
guys on-
surprised he's got three screens?
He's overcompensated for something. Guaranteed.
We've already been through the tiny cock conversation.
Listen,
True.
What's
if
up,
Kyle
Chris?
didn't have three screens, Norway's economy would shrink by half. So he's keeping the government afloat right now.
Because the other 12 of us are not going to buy that many screens.
Just want to big up my Norwegian brothers and sisters. Shots were not fired, but it's all in good fun. There we go.
Oh. What
This
we,
is your rodeo, Dave. So
what we beveraging on this evening?
bringing in the beverage.
I'm
Also
drinking
notice that you've turned your bottle rim
Secret
the other way.
Secret
Wobble.
Twitch mix number 4, which is basically
Oh.
vodka and orange juice.
Vodka and OG. He murdered
Kyle's
his
getting
wife.
wild.
Alleged.
I did
No,
not.
he
I will
did
bring
do
her
time
in
for it, so.
so she can
Did he?
prove that she's not murdered.
I don't think he actually did time for the murder. He did time for robbing his stuff back. So technically, that's an allegedly. I don't want to be. Has anyone followed OJ on Twitter?
God, no.
No.
Cunt's just
say
walking around. He just walks around Florida, posting his hot takes and things that happen, like the election. Like I'm sure there'll be a Tiger Woods has had a car crash. But he'll be like, you listen here, Tiger. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, what the fuck are you doing, OJ? And people like it. But there's also, if you look at it, there's like every second, like message back to him is like, "You murdered your wife." It's kind of funny. I'm on BrewDog tonight, so I'm having the
BrewDog.
double or nothing, double
Splashing out
hazy
for the
offset
Twitch
IPA.
stream. Wow.
So, and
Nice.
for more product plays, I'm following that up with a hazy Jane.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Easy.
double BrewDog tonight because I fall for their very clever marketing. Which at the moment they're doing the Willy Wonka thing. They have 12 golden, like solid gold cans in amongst their Hazy Jane ones. So if you buy them directly from the website, there's a chance you might get them. So I bought a lot of beer and did not get a golden can.
Oh, come on.
You're a sucker for this kind of stuff, aren't you? I remember.
Are you
I remember
shaming me
the-
right there for my?
Raven
Right,
gifted
you want
to
an
Pixie
embarrassing
as well.
story right up front. Right, so I'm a big horror fan. I have a horror podcast, but I also collect a ton of horror physical media, so like DVDs, Blu-rays, shit like that. And I buy mostly from a company called Arrow Films in the UK. And they have a sub-studio called Arrow Video. And Arrow Video does all the stuff that you grew up with, all the 80s shit. And I already owned Maniac Cop on Blu-ray, and they were like that. We're releasing some limited edition Steelbook Blu-rays. And we can tell you right now, there's like 5 golden tickets in this Steelbook range. So I bought 3 copies of Maniac Cop Steelbook. I gave 1 to Dave, 1 to Baz, get 1 for myself. And then a year later, Arrow posted a message saying, no one's claimed this golden ticket. So I started to get the sweats that maybe Dave or Baz had it. So I had to force them to, I had to actually physically force them to open it to make sure that they weren't sitting on, because it was like you got their entire catalogue for a year. Needless to say, no one won it.
No,
So,
of course.
market. I don't think it existed, Dave.
Nah, lies. What's everyone else drinking in the chat? Any
Anybody?
beverage?
Beverage drink. As you can see, I've upgraded the Metal Epidemic scene.
I'm seeing that, Kyle.
Yeah, Metal Epidemic's now on fire. We've got a fancy background happening.
Nice.
It looks just like Glasgow.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's what I was
Glasgow
going
on a
for.
Tuesday.
I got another friend in or near Glasgow called Sarah, and I said, Sarah, what does it look like? Can you just take a photo of Glasgow right now? She's like, yeah,
She's
sure.
like,
And she went outside.
Fire! That's what it looks like. Fucking fire!
That's what she sent me.
That's accurate. It's also
What,
contagious. It's
A lot of coffee drinkers in the chat.
Oh
A lot of
yeah,
coffee.
everybody
Well,
loves
to be
coffee.
fair, it is a Wednesday.
Okay, some of them are in the morning, so that's fair enough.
Yeah, Zinderella Tilly, she's in Australia, Western Australia, so it's really
That's fair
fucking early
enough.
for her. Yeah, so I'm like, if you're not drinking coffee, why are you awake? If there's not whiskey in that coffee, it's not Friday.
Whiskey in the jarro. Yeah.
Damn.
Sorry.
On the
I do that
tap already.
more with you guys than I do that with anyone else. It's like words are
Really?
mentioned and then all of a sudden, yeah, I don't do it with many people.
No.
It would be annoying at work. You know, if you're sitting in a board meeting, not like that, the GPA for the year is down, and I'm like, down with the sickness. You know what I mean? That's a fast track to a pink slip. So you don't want that. Which
What
also
does
fast track
pink
to a
slip
pink
mean?
slip.
Like,
I think it's the American term for getting fired. It's a P45.
Oh,
P60,
okay.
P60, P45. I don't know. I've never been fired because I keep the sickness to myself.
all right.
So yeah. Fast Track to a Pink Slip though is the name of the first album with my trashy 80s hair metal project coming next year.
Hey, nice.
Fast Track to a Pink Slip, but the pink slip is a vagina.
That's what I thought you meant. Yeah. I was like, how is that?
Excellent.
How is you getting in trouble at work? A fast track to the vagina? I just don't
Cocks,
get it. Yeah.
Vagina, we've got that out of the way.
Well, you say
Thanks,
that.
Nerly.
I don't know if we've got it out of the way.
Nah,
We've-
you've
we've
definitely got it out
We've
your
certainly
system, yeah.
broached the subject. I don't know if we've gotten it out the way, Dave. This is the foreplay session. All right, let's start. Before we go, body.
All right, we're no longer
so
family friendly. Let me just.
please tell me that you haven't. Please tell me that there are not kids watching this. Up
kids
listening
watching
to
this.
this.
No, I've definitely put the mature
Please.
flag on for this one.
Good,
Excellent.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I'll be producing that band of his, by the way. So I've got a lot to listen to. All of the outtakes where he
Yep.
just screams "Cox."
Yep, cock.
Cock.
Cock. And Cock saved the day today, didn't it? Because our topic. See, this is what they call a segue in the biz. A segue by the way of a cock. Yeah, there was our topic tonight has been interesting in that it was fairly loose, like a loose
Interesting.
vagina, like a big loose vagina. No, it was fairly loose in
take some
terms
notes.
of. In terms of, we'd flung it out there and then not really batting down the hatches, so to speak, on what constituted the theme. And then Kyle, he was just like, I'm not doing any more. I've got 3. That's not how we roll here. It's a 5 here. So the threat was that if he didn't do it, that I would get my dick out. And then all of a sudden he magicked up another 2. So you can thank Kyle for the lack of penis on this episode. You're welcome, guys.
What I told him is what is threatening me with a good time save the day.
Don't need nothing but a good time.
It's happened already. Oh my god, it's pop epidemic.
That's poison. That's poison.
Same
Ain't
thing.
looking for nothing but a good time. Sure, he doesn't do the clicky finger thing.
If he did, it's definitely pop.
That's the Billy Joel version, apparently. I don't know. He's a piano man. Anyway, right, what we do? What we doing?
Yeah, the topic for this evening's stream was bands that peaked on their debut album.
Number 1, their first album, and that was the top for them. They never came back.
Unless
Yes.
that first album was released,
here we go.
self-released,
Right,
or by
wait
a
minute.
label which is so
Wait
tiny that we're
a
just
fucking
discounting
minute.
because Dave changed his rules.
Right, listen. I put
That
the
means
topic
my
out there.
band's first album is out.
Bands that peaked on their day. It sounds like a fairly straightforward brief. I thought it was fairly clear on the instructions.
Until you realise most bands have released an album before the album that you class as their first album.
But
That's
that's
how they
not their
usually
first
get signed.
album.
It's usually how they get signed.
But it's not their first album. The brief was bands that peaked on their debut first
Right.
album.
And we're going to get to the thing that I gave you as the comeback is the prime example of where that fails. In that,
Doesn't
not
fail.
that I don't want to steal thunder
Doesn't
from
fail.
anyone.
I think you're
Doesn't
right,
It
Ray.
does. If the band say, well, it's not really officially a first album, I'm sure that record label that released it thought it was a fucking. Well, I could just change anything. This is the first
Listen,
stream
if the
we've
band
done
says-
with Metal Epidemic. The previous one didn't count.
The band says that it was a demo, and Wikipedia says it was a demo. Then
Wikipedia doesn't actually say it was a demo. It,
It
says
was a
they
demo.
self-released it and then it was actually released by a record label, limited edition.
but listen, record labels release demos.
Dave,
Record labels release demos.
When bands
right.
become famous, they release demos. They
Well,
weren't
whatever,
famous yet.
but they still do it.
Yeah, you're right. God. This is what
I
I'm
Hate God.
You
I
change
Hate
the
God.
rules to fit yourself.
I Hate God released an album of demos on Century Media label, Century Media Records.
But was it their first release?
I don't
Did it
know.
come
but
out at the
It was
time?
demos. It was demos. What I'm
And
trying
we're
to
going
say
to come
is,
back to this. We're going to come back to this, and I'm
It's
just
a
going to
demo.
be like that. Oh, this band released an album, and this band released an album.
with this particular band that we're talking about, I don't class that as their first album. Not at all.
I see that. Well, if we're just, well, I don't class anything as a. I'm changing the rules. They've got 4 albums in. I'm not including any of them, and I'll just go with the one that I
chat-
consider the first one.
The chat agrees with me, so let's just leave it at that, all right?
The chat.
One person
will
in the
agree
chat
with you.
agrees with Dave,
Listen,
so
just
let's
to
leave
get
it.
It doesn't
things
matter
going.
how many people. It may have been one, it may have been more. It looks like one at the moment, but they agree.
You've become very Trumpian, you know that.
Pixie's like, if I get married again, I'm calling my first husband my demo husband.
Yeah, I mean, this is the logic. It's Phil's logic. What I said was how you fix it.
What's up,
Yep,
Oswald?
said we-
Thanks very much. That's my brother, Oswald. He's down in southern England, representing
brother?
my actual real life brother.
Oh, hi,
Hand
Kale's brother.
claps for Oswald.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, like, all I'm saying, Dave, is we should have just nailed it down to major
Bands
release.
that peaked on their debut album.
Their major debut album.
I nailed
We
it
should just
down,
done
first
that, and
time.
then it takes it all the way. Just takes it the way.
I nailed it. And I nailed it.
I'm
First time.
fact checking your list tonight, and I'm gonna go.
Oh, no.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Oh,
Right,
guess what?
well.
Oh, bullshit. The internet
fa-
will see me right, Dave. Dave versus the internet. Who's gonna win?
It sounds like Duncan versus internet, to be honest. But let's
Let's find out.
get
Shall
on
we?
with this.
Shall we, Dave?
To be look at him. Look at him.
Shall we really?
You have a couple of drinks, all right? Chill out. It's all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Already.
okay.
We can't all be agreeing. We have to have contention here. If one of us doesn't name an album and we're like that, well, that's not their best album. It was their third album. I will be pissed off. If we all agree each other and do all the like Bobby Tap,
Oh, I've got a
I'm
few
gonna be
you're
happy.
gonna hate.
I'm gonna piss yous right off.
Yeah.
Right off.
Let me find
Don't
my
you worry
list.
about that.
Where's my list?
Are you? We'll find out. We'll find out. I don't know.
Wait, where is my fucking list? Oh, there we go. All right.
Kyle,
Is it more than
did
three?
you really did you need to write it down, really?
Do I need to get my dick out, Kyle?
I had more than 3 in the end. That's more than I'm a bass player. Come on.
Okay.
Like, ignore
Yeah.
those. They're guitars. Basses are over
Okay.
there.
They're fact checking Kyle's background. Like that. Oh, bass player, you say? There's a guitar over there.
They're my friends. I'm just holding them.
I don't use them. I just hold them,
Yeah.
spoken like a true drug dealer.
Right.
Um,
Oh yeah. Look at my new chair.
Let's see
It's-
Kyle's
It
new
says Doom on it.
this is the one he got gifted to him. Remember?
Very well.
Yeah.
Very
He
well.
says he got gifted to him. That's code
He's telling
for
his wife that.
stole.
He's telling his wife he got gifted it.
Yeah.
We know, Kyle. We know. Should we start off with the contentious one, and we can let the chat decide whether they agree or disagree. I did have it on my list, to be fair.
I had it on my list, but then that's what prompted the question. It was on my list, and I was like, well, actually, they've got an album before this, but it was released under a shitty record label that only pressed 100 copies or something. But technically, they were signed, and technically, it was released. So,
But technically, yeah. Okay. So we'll start off with this one. It is, if you hadn't guessed already, it is Slipknot's self-titled album. If you've never heard of Slipknot before,
Are you
They
fucking
are.
kidding me? I
you
was.
fucking high right now.
they hail from Des Moines, Iowa. 6 albums released. Maybe 7, possibly.
7 albums.
So they had out a demo, according to the band, a demo called
Matefield
What was it
to
called?
repeat.
That's it, yeah. It's an album, but I mean, that's fine.
And they only chose that because it looked like motherfucker.
They did, which is very clever. It's edgy.
Yeah. Edge.
Yeah.
We need edge. This is metal. 9 of
Yeah.
us came up with motherfucker.
now like take that out of the equation. Take out that demo out of the equation.
Take the album, take the first album out the way,
Take that
and then
demo out
your
of the way.
argument works. You're totally right.
Take
Dave.
that
If
demo
we
out
just
of the way.
change it. If we just
And
change it. Yeah.
Some may argue that Iowa is their best album. I've read many a list. on
Iowa's
this.
not their best album. Whoever said that is
claim-
fucking stupid.
Listen, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it's out there. People are saying it.
You have
Alright.
become Trumpian. You're like, some people have told me, I've heard somewhere, these are things that he says, like that. A lot of people are telling me. No one's fucking, he's just made it up on the spot. David's just making shit up on the spot to make, I'm on to you, motherfucker.
My middle name's Donald. Just
Yeah, it's actually.
Dave, Donald
Coincidence?
Buchanan. Your parents hated you, didn't they?
Oh, I
Yeah.
can beat that. We can beat that. What's my full name?
Duncan Bruce McLeish.
Yeah, I sound like I should be leading an uprising against English any second now. Like, literally, I should have a clan of people behind me getting ready to march and
Caracan.
decapitate the Queen.
Bruce, freedom! Caracan knows
It
exactly
is
what
literally, yeah, that Duncan Bruce McLeish is maybe the David Donald Buchanan and Duncan Bruce McLeish. The two of us sound like the two most stereotypical Scottish people ever. And, you know, if I stand up right now, you'll see my kilt, so I'm not doing it. And,
I thought you were going to say something else.
hello, that's my haggis. Stand up, you'll see my
Oh.
haggis. Hiya. So Slipknot, first album. Some people say Iowa's their second album.
Some
Which
people
one?
do
It's
say
their third
Iowa is their
album.
best. I do not agree with that. I wholeheartedly think that their self-titled is. Before we get to that, Kyle, do you have any middle names? Just before we.
Apart from motherfucker.
Nice.
It only took one person to come up with that one.
Nice.
Was it
Matthew.
yourself after you stubbed your toe? Motherfucker! That's my new middle name.
Did you say Matthew?
Matthew, yes.
Kyle Matthew 7.
Mm-hmm.
You do have a kind of wizardy sounding name. You know what I mean, we sound like we should be marching south. You're 2 steps, so it's like Seven Oaks sounds like he's like a Gandalf sort of guy. You know what I mean? You shall not pass. Like Kyle the Grey. You know what I mean? I can see what we're doing.
What's up, Starry? Please save me from this.
There is no saving. I can see
So
why I kept
anyway.
us waiting now.
Anyway, back to Slipknot. Yeah, Iowa, get it to fuck. It's not their best album, not even close.
Yeah, fuck.
I'd argue that their last 3 albums, Kyle might hate me for this. Their last 3 albums are very unremarkable.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you.
Oh,
Yeah, I
really?
don't disagree with that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, can't. It's just like, yeah, I mean, they had all the spite and the bile and vomit and bile and vomit and everything when they came out on that first record. And this was going to be one of my choices. This really was. But I thought,
Is it?
I was on the fence because I love Iowa so much.
You were like, they've got an album out before this.
Well, I don't even
self-titled
count
album.
that. Because it's got a different singer. There's only 6
count.
members.
Different
One of them
singer.
doesn't wear a
Doesn't
mask.
matter. Are we doing that? Like, if the band members change, does it default
And-
to the first album? I've got a whole other list then.
Duncan's like, let me
And-
get up my scroll.
Some of the songs
Chinese
on that.
Democracy is Guns N' Roses' first album because the band member changes there and it sucked ass. So I just want to know where we're drawing the line here.
Some of the songs
There you go,
on
Tilly.
Hate Feed Kill Repeat. What the fuck was it called
Mate,
again?
feed,
Mate-
kill, repeat.
Mate.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Mate.
Remember?
Feed Kill. I'll never get that. That first demo, there was some tracks on that then appeared on albums after that, with different
Oh.
names. So
We need a referee.
technically a demo.
We do.
I don't know if that's how that works because bands will
Yeah, it is,
cover
it is.
songs they've done
It is.
before and do new
I've read
versions
that.
on other albums. Doesn't mean the album that it came from doesn't exist
does.
anymore.
It does.
So,
it does.
you know, like
That's-
Dog Fashion
that's
Disco
the-
have
that's in black and
re-recorded
white.
all their stuff from their first 2 albums and re-released
First
them
2
recently.
albums.
That doesn't make them.
That's the
that
first 2
doesn't make them.
albums.
Yeah, but it doesn't
That
make
was their
them.
demo. Slipknot demo.
Also, oh right, so it was a demo, even though it was
a
released
demo.
as an album.
Did you
Fine,
not hear me
that's right,
earlier?
it's sort of released as an album, but it was a demo. It was a demo album,
Demo.
released properly.
No,
right.
no, just a
before
demo.
they were famous. Aye, that's cool. I'm
It was
on
before
now.
they were
I know what
famous,
we're
yeah.
doing. I know what we're doing. I know what we're doing.
Anyway, I think we're all in agreement that it's a demo and that their self-titled album is
agree with
when they peaked. I don't think they ever bettered that first album.
I think their second,
You know
no,
what?
I'm only
No.
joking. Their self-titled album is their best album.
Yeah.
It is by far. I
And
think
Corey
that the
Taylor
problem-
even comes out in interviews. He's like, everybody just wants us to remake that album. We're like, yeah, do that.
Yes.
Please just do
there's,
that.
there's, it's twofold. There's 2 reasons why they've never bet it. I think one of the first ones is what Kyle had basically said. Like after that album, they became incredibly successful, right? And
And they lost all the
sadly-
stuff they hated. There was nothing left to
Yeah.
hate. They were world
The
famous, living the
second-
life, and it was like, what's left?
I'm going to say the second reason why I was not better is the reason that their self-titled album
See you
is
later,
better.
Oswald.
It's Ross Robinson. Like Ross Robinson went out his way to make what he called a heavier album, and I think what happened in that is it compromised what made them raw sounding.
Yeah.
Like
True.
he boosts the percussion sounds up. You lose all those. I've said it before. Like the the media guy and the decks guy might as well not be in Iowa, you know, in the band. You can hear very few things from them. Yes, it's a heavier sound, but heavier does not denote better. So Self-Titled's a better album.
Yeah.
So you are right.
The chat says this is turning into a mosh pit than a talk show.
It's not a talk show. It's a debate. A fiery, feisty debate on Twitch. That's right, Twitchies. Can't stand the heat. Get out
Mosh
the
talk.
kitchen.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Yeah, so
it's a good one, though.
that's a definite.
No, I don't remember what I called it. Well, I came up with that name when I was like 14. I don't know
Duncan, stop being a Trump. You've been told to stop being a Trump.
No,
That's right,
that's not how Trump does things. Trump doesn't give facts. Trump tells lies. I'm telling the truth, right? So that
Lies.
instantly does not mean that Trump. It would be if I was saying people are telling me that that's their first release. No, factually it is their first album. Anyway, I see your one, and I come in with an equally contentious one from a band who exactly have the same sort of thing as the Slipknot argument, and that they do have a release before this, which was then later released as a series of demos, but they weren't. And that is Mudvayne with LD50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mudvayne's first album is their best album. I want to stress, I don't think they've actually ever released.
Bitch.
I don't actually think they've ever released a
Kyle,
bad album.
we all know that's blank. All right, stop lying.
Yeah, I'd love it. He's yeah, that's just like you hold it far enough back, it looks like scribbles can look like writing. Look how much stuff I wrote.
Look at all the things I've written. Oh, yeah.
Can you read that? Can you read it? So he's 2 steps away from putting his head in front of him saying, "Can you read that thing?" So yeah, I
try not to give away my choices.
I think their second album which I think is self-titled, is an incredible album. But there's maybe 2 or 3 songs in it that I think are them trying to experiment out with what their sound makes them. The sound that made that first album. LD50 is like lightning in a bottle. It's quirky, it's tight. It didn't sound like anything that was out at the time. I loved Chad's vocals, which went from kind of really screamy stuff to kind of crooning vocals to the rap shit he was doing, and it's just like a really weird, eclectic sounding album. And then after that, every album sounded like this is the one sound we want, and we're doing it from front to back, and that's kind of not what I want from Mudvayne. So yeah, like I say, I don't think they've necessarily got a bad album, but to me, LD50's top of the tree. So
yeah, I'd agree with that. Wikipedia does state their release before that as an EP, so
is it? Oh, well, I'm fine then. So Mings is okay then. Whereas Wikipedia says that Make, Kill, Feed, Repeat, or whatever it is actually an album. So that's fine.
You don't even know either.
Motherfucker. That's what it is. Yeah. So like, anyone disagree with LD50? Clearly not Kyle, who imaginarily scored it off his list. Oh no, he sunk my battleship. You know what I mean? Like,
you did. I will
LD50.
agree. I listened to them over all of Mudvayne's albums, at least halfway through, just to see if I was right, because I had an inkling. Like, yeah, I loved LD50. I loved the opening. I loved Dig. I love all of the songs that came after it, because I can remember the names. I promise. And and I listened to that album so much when it came out for years, and I, put it on every now and then, now too, but not the other ones. And I owned them and I bought them, and I was like, yeah, they're pretty cool, and that was it. So like, I completely agree. Just like, it just everything came together on that album. And after it, they were just like, we still exist, but we're not as good.
Yeah. You can go from Internal Primates Forever, which is just incredible, to something
which is on
like
the first
Death
album,
Blooms.
and I know that.
Yeah. So and then it goes. Yeah, if you go into Death Blooms is it's a kind of more ballady sounding song. It's still got the heavier edges, but it's big singing choruses and all the rest.
Yeah.
And then you can go to Pharmacopoeia, and you fly out Nothing to Gain, and shitloads of amazing tracks on that all sound different from each other, but still sound like Mudvayne. And the problem is all their other releases kind of sound like this is the one sound we want to do for the entire album. And then they went off and joined Hell Yeah.
Thanks to the host, Pixie.
And
Hell no.
what's the other one? Audiotopsy. Remember Audiotopsy?
That was
like
bad.
an audio and an autopsy, Dave, and they put it together because they're clever.
I remember now.
Are they clever?
I remember.
I don't know.
Is that the word a clever person would say?
I don't know. The album wasn't very good either, which upsets me,
Yeah.
because I don't think any of them as well. The musicians in that band have all done weird things, apart from the bass player. None of them have sounded as good as they did together.
Yeah,
So,
the bass player did some stuff for
reunited.
Korn for a while, and
Yep.
yeah, I can't remember what else he's done. But he's a fucking amazing bass player. I think he teaches a
Oh.
lot. Ryan Martini, he's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
I loved LD50. I think the reason I loved it so much was it had the usual kind of new metal tropes, but they mixed it with something a little bit more technical. Like
Yes.
in terms of the musicianship, particularly drum and bass wise, I thought those two were fantastic. They could really play and it was clear that they weren't just bringing the kind of predictable kind of new metal chops. You know what I mean? That you'd kind of come to expect from bands around that time. They were kind of pushing the bass with pushing the envelope with the kind of slap bass and almost kind of progressive bass lines and drumming and stuff. A lot more intricate.
guitars are
Why
there
would you
only
do
really-
that when we're in the middle of a goddamn podcast? Who the fuck? Somebody sent me money. There's scare alerts on the stream, right? And I forgot to turn them off. So if you send a certain amount of cash, you'll scare the shit out of me. And they just did it, and they can't hear it, so they're just sitting there going, "What? What happened?" I think Zodi gave me a fucking heart attack. Ah.
I have no idea what. Like, don't upset them. Take your money back.
Oh, no, I'm keeping the money. Thanks, Zodi. How you doing?
But yeah, like the guitars are the one instrument on that whole recording that are the unremarkable instrument. Everyone else, vocal, bass, drums, are all doing. But that's what makes it work. See if the guitars were also doing overtly technical stuff. To me, it would sound too messy. That bit has to be some. It's weirdly it's substituting what is. Don't upset Kyle here, but what is the bass on a lot of new metal albums? Like the bass is just basically there just to be like it kind of they swap for him. That's what makes it really interesting. Open string all the way through.
They were one of those bands that actually kept the same lineup for their career as well, like their entire career, which is like pretty rare. I think the albums that followed LD50 just kind of lacked something. Like they had standout tracks, but none of them were nearly as good as that album. The one that followed up was the end of all things.
The end of things to come or something.
Yeah.
But
had
see,
some
they
good
recorded
tracks
that
on it.
with they recorded that with Dave Bottrell, who did a ton of stuff with Tool,
Ah, right.
which made sense to me at the time because I think he'd recorded the Lateralis,
Ah,
and
right.
I was like, that's a perfect fucking fit. And
Yeah.
then it just doesn't have the bite in
No.
the previous album, and
No,
I
it
think
doesn't.
I was like, no, you need that tightness with
Yeah.
the bass and the drums, and that's just not there.
Mm.
And then they went the other way in all the other albums. It was like super fucking polished.
Yeah.
So
They went a wee bit more kind of radio friendly as well on the kind of
Yeah.
latter albums.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Fuck the
he
radio.
can sing. He's got a really good.
Yeah.
The thing is, see if I could sing like he could sing, I would sing. You know what I mean? Like, there's no need to do the screamy stuff when you sing as good as him. But then he all of a sudden wanted to sound like he was from Texas. You're from Chicago, dude. You know what I mean?
I'm from Chicago.
Oh, sorry, Peoria
Texas.
is where they're from. They're from Peoria, Illinois. So you're not from Texas, but all of a sudden he was wearing a fucking cowboy hat, and yeah, I'm like, no,
Singing in Hell Yeah.
yeah, not good. Singing in Hell Yeah, which is, I mean,
Oh, that's a bad choice. Oh.
So
that's going to be the name of his biography. Singing in Hell Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're all in agreement on that one.
Yeah, I think it was on my list. It was a backup.
was on-
Oh, yeah, well,
Kyle's
allegedly.
imaginary list.
Kyle's imaginary list. It was in Kyle's imagination. He scored it. Kyle,
I've got it under my
that
hat.
is the one.
Kyle's got one left, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Oh,
He was like that, not Mudvayne, not Mudvayne, not. Oh, fuck.
I know. I'm gonna piss some people off with this one.
Do it.
All right.
now.
So what we're gonna take a director's term, a crash segue. Which is no segue at all. I'm just gonna come right out and say it.
All right.
Linkin Park,
Oh,
their first album. Thank you, Pyro, for those 50 bits.
Hybrid Theory.
Hybrid Theory. Meteora was not as good as Hybrid Theory. What the fuck they did after that, I don't know. But Hybrid Theory was great. is a great
Yeah.
album. Not gonna
It's-
lie, I listened to that album when it came out for fucking years. I haven't listened to it recently because stuff with, but
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that one. Not at all.
It's their second album, though. I mean,
What?
I'm not joking. I just,
You fucking dear.
fucking just
Wait,
leave.
no.
Stand up,
Hybrid-
go,
hybrid-
bye.
Yep. Hybrid Theory is as perfect an album for that sound will ever sound.
Yeah,
That makes
right?
sense.
It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's produced perfectly. It's got a great mix. The balance is brilliant. There's no filler tracks on it.
two-starry.
They're like fucking 5 singles from it or something like that. which
No,
is
they're
nuts.
ridiculous, and they're all
That's
really
the
good
thing.
videos, and
Yeah.
the lyrics had some meaning, and the music was pretty good. And it's like they just never made that up again, even when they collaborated with all the many people they collaborated with. It's just like, no, sorry.
The thing about it is it changes the way you say the word heal as well. You can't say heal anymore. It's heal.
Right.
These wounds they will not heal.
Well, I thought he had a pain in his foot.
Yep. On his heel.
Or is he?
Yeah. My wife's ruined her new pair of high heel shoes. She broke the heel. That was a bad setup for a bad joke. Don't
Ooh.
laugh. No. I'm
drinking.
with you on that one. I saw them on that
All
tour
right,
as
not
well.
gonna piss
and
anybody
they
off
were
for that one. then.
great.
Next time I'll
No.
try harder.
No. It's-
The Demented Raven confusing what is real. Yeah, it's nothing's real.
sold 27 million copies worldwide.
Holy fucking
I mean,
shit.
that's alright.
Yeah.
It's not bad, eh? Yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
I'm not even sure.
Pixie
thing
at
is-
Large is booing me.
We can
Oh.
all remember lyrics from the first album. We can all remember songs and the singles
Yep.
and the videos, but what can you remember from the second one? I can't remember a thing. Except
I
maybe
remember
they had a
the
robot on the
one
album
song.
cover, and that was it.
Mm.
And
Yeah. What's it? Forfeit the game before somebody else takes you out of the frame and puts your name to shame.
Yeah, that sounds
That was
terrible.
on the era, wasn't it?
The Bruce.
Yeah.
I just noticed your name's been changed to the Bruce on here.
It's been like that for half an hour.
The Bruce.
King of Scotland. although there was a King David, so I think King David was before King Bruce. So there we go.
Oh well. Can't win them all.
So yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. I think the
Nah,
thing is, like, I'm with you. I know that I have listened to every Linkin Park album. I could not tell you right now how many they actually have, or if I can really remember much of anything
Don't they have
about them.
2 and like a billion remix albums?
I thought they had 3.
I have no idea. I think
more
they
than
had
that, I
2.
don't
I
know.
thought they had Meteor, and then that was just it. They just fell off and just did remix albums, and each member went their own way.
Let's check. I'm pretty
can't
sure they had
remember.
more than that.
I haven't got a clue. Because number 1 was the
Definitely.
best, and after that I was like, well, I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck. Lincoln who? No, it's a place in the US. I don't want to go there.
4
7.
albums. 7 albums.
I'm counting.
What? No, is this 7 albums all of original songs? This is 2 albums and
I don't know.
5 fucking
Yeah,
remix
wait. You've got to
albums.
take the remix. Get the remix albums out.
Which one was the remix album?
What's up, Guardian?
I have no idea. Fucking 7 albums. 7.
I can't be right.
According to Wikipedia,
Even
Hybrid
Pixie's calling
Theory.
nonsense.
fucking bullshit. Hybrid Theory 2000,
Yeah.
Meteora 2003, Minutes to Midnight 2007, A
Well,
Thousand
that sounds like an
Suns
album.
2010, Living Things 2012, The Hunting Party 2014, and then One More Light 2017.
Might be. Well, I'm saying it might be. They all sound like albums. None of them sound like remix ones. So
All right, whatever. Well, that just
Yeah.
proves my point even further.
7
None
albums.
of us knew they had 7 fucking
6.
albums.
Shite. I think. I think.
do you want me to dig up Chester Bennington so you can piss on him, Dave? Will that make you feel happy?
Oh!
Jesus fucking Christ! Eh? Shots fucking fired from Dave Buchanan.
King David, please.
Yep. Donald, where's your trousers? Fucking Dave's just like Bobby slapping everyone right now. Jesus Christ.
I think Hybrid Theory is one that actually still holds up pretty well though.
Yep.
Like
It
20
does,
years
yeah.
later.
It really does.
Every track could have been a single, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just never got it back. Never.
No.
Even when they collaborate with Jay-Z, which was a surprise to fucking no one. Hello.
There's a great meme running around just now saying, just when you think you're not good enough for an attractive woman, just remember Beyonce's married to this man, and it's a picture of a fat Jay-Z running on the beach. And I'm like, yeah, under any other circumstance I would agree with that, but Jay-Z has more money than Beyonce, so...
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's a gold digger, because she's not. She's an independent woman.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they could have ever outdone that first album, to be honest.
Oh, sounds like they tried and failed spectacularly.
I mean, they tried
It's a
6
new
times,
metal
but
thing. Like, see if we wanted to just do, like, I had to stop myself at some point when doing this list when I realised that 90% of them were new metal albums.
yeah.
There's a whole rung of bands that were new metal bands that came out. They had that one great album, which was their first album, and then inevitably everything they followed it up with was derivative and shit. Because they didn't change, and I think that's the issue.
Do you think?
Whereas Linkin Park didn't do that. Linkin Park went the other way. So.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
I love
They
this
started to
name,
incorporate-
Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer.
Yeah.
That's
Linkin Park
fantastic.
went the other way, so they started leaning more into like specifically changing their sound. But it just
Yeah.
so happens that in changing their sound, once again, kind of like Mudvayne, in changing the sound, you kind of lost that. Bands should always try and change. You should never release the same album over and over again. But sadly,
Unless you're
the things
Slipknot.
that make it special.
Yeah.
Unless you're Slayer,
I think,
Iron
it's a
Maiden.
fucking career.
AC/DC.
I just doing that. Apart from that one new metal album, which
I think,
Stain of Mind, man, is amazing.
I think Meteora had a few good tracks on it, but I seem to remember they went a bit experimental on some of the tracks on the album.
Yep.
For what I can remember anyway, and I think for me it kind of derailed it a little bit. And then the ones that followed up, they started to play with more electronics and a wee bit more atmospheric on was it the Haunting Party?
Yeah.
And then that was it. One More Light, was that the last one? It was quite poppy, to be honest.
Dude, I've listened to them, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
But
they
yeah.
existed, so yeah. I
Yeah,
thought they had two.
Kyle and me are not great witnesses for Linkin Park at the moment because we thought they had 3 tops.
Right.
And it turns out they did 4 more than that.
Yeah. And we're just like, well, the more you know. Proves my point. Linkin
Yep.
Park first album was the best one.
So,
What's
so
up,
far,
Unfrozen
no
Caveman Lawyer?
contentiousness.
I know what's happening here, boys. What's happening?
The night is young.
The night is young.
The night
What's
is
up,
young.
Laura? It's good to see you too.
Hi, Laura.
Right, Dave,
okay.
come on, bring the
Okay,
bring the
here we
heat.
go. Let's go with another hugely. I don't know if I'll have much debate on this one. Another hugely iconic album, released in 1992, and pretty groundbreaking, to be honest. And I'd say
Oh,
close to flawless, in my opinion.
I disagree already.
If you say who you
Oh,
think
really?
you're going to say, I'm just going to get up and leave.
Well, no, I think you agree with him on this. I think he's mentioned it before. I might be
I
wrong
am
with
going
dates
with
here.
the self-titled debut album from
Oh, that's
Rage Against the Machine.
Ah.
See, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
What do
know.
you mean you don't know? What do you mean?
I really like the second album.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's all right.
I think I actually like the. I
it's
think I
all
like.
right.
I think the second album's got more of the stuff on it that I like from Rage Against the Machine. It's more funky.
I think I don't think there's a bad track on that debut. There's one track. Track four. Settle for Nothing. I think it's called Settle for Nothing. That's the only track that I sometimes skip. It's a wee bit of a weird
Yeah.
track. It's not got a lot of.
Sometimes skip.
Yeah. It's a bit. It's not got a real hook to it, that track. But aside from that, I'd say it's wall-to-wall bangers on that album, to be
Yeah.
honest. Perfectly produced as well.
Well,
Love the
yeah,
production
there
on
is
that album.
that. The production on that is insane. You've got like bass in one ear
Yeah.
and guitar on the other. It's actually pretty cool. I do love that a
Yeah.
lot about it.
Yeah. I thought it was quite a.
I'm just
Quite a
because I thought about it too, and I was like, yeah, but the other albums have good songs on them too.
Oh, come on. Evil Empire was alright, but it was a dip in quality compared to the debut.
I don't like it. I like it though. Really, really like it.
It's got some cool riffs. And it's the guitar tone I like.
You're
I'd
right
probably-
though. Like if I had both albums sitting in front of me, what one would I pick up first? I'd probably go with the self-titled. But
Yeah, see,
It kinda
a lot
hurts
of
my
agreements
soul
in
to
the
think-
chat there. A lot of
Nah,
agreements.
you know what? I agree.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck. No, I think you're right. I think when it comes down to it, it's got the better songs, the better tone, the better production. There's some memorable moments on Evil Empire and whatever else came after it, but yeah,
Battle of Los Angeles. Was
yeah,
that
that
one?
one was
Which
like,
I liked
yeah.
as well.
I liked
It's,
it.
It's
it
a
is a bit
really-
more commercial.
Yeah.
It's a really strong opening album. It's got like Testify and Guerrilla Radio and stuff. Really
Yeah.
strong opener, but
And then falls off
kinda,
towards the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep Now in the Fire. That's a track as
That
well,
is a
actually.
fucking
Yeah.
good track.
But yeah, in terms of like consistency,
And covers albums don't count, so.
no.
They don't. Oh shit.
Oh,
You'd have to be a pretty shit band to open with your first album being a covers album. Though, wouldn't you?
Well, Chris, we're gonna have to cancel that other project.
Yeah, don't not with your first release. Never with your first release.
Just stop.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not contentious enough to the point where I'd be like, I shit on you, David Buchanan. You know what I mean? Like,
Unfrozen Caveman Lawyers just agreed with us on Slipknot, and they weren't even here for that. Dave's first one, wherever he is, him. First pick was Slipknot's first album, said that it was their best.
yeah.
yes.
And Duncan
Yes.
said,
what we
Duncan said, fuck, what? And then he went, yeah. And I went, are you kidding? Actually, you're right. So,
That's pretty accurate, actually. You summed up a 10-minute conversation there into 3 seconds. We should keep Kyle along more often. He's the only one that can understand us as well because of our thick regional accents. He translate for his listeners. That's a good one, Dave. That's a good
So
one. Right.
yeah, so far we've had Slipknot, we've had Mudvayne's LD50, we've had Linkin Park Hybrid Theory, and Rage Against the Machine's self-titled. Is that right? Yep.
Yep.
that sounds right. The abridged version. Yeah, one said this and the other said that. There you go. That's the podcast. Thank you very much. Good night.
So, yeah. Yeah, no real disagreements so far, to be fair.
Amazingly, I thought we'd be all like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? Of
There's
course
time.
you like the fiery logo. You were born in fire, Laura. What I'm impressed with is that Dave liked it. Is like he didn't come to me and say, "Have you set my logo on fire, you son of a bitch?" And no, I know you said, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Oh, aye.
Yeah, there you go.
Like it.
Dave tends to keep his rage on the inside. I'll get an earful later on. Did you see what that Kyle cunt did to my logo? Set
The
fucking
funniest
on
thing, this is the
fire.
logo I recreated, so it's still mine.
DM me, hun.
It's not the only thing that gets burnt in Norway. Hi-oh!
Oh. He's on fire tonight.
He's not getting
He's on
burned
fire
up.
tonight.
I mean, that's a... We just stick to logos. Burn logos, not churches.
You know what?
That's the-
Chris
that's the
raises a
message
good
we're
point.
putting out.
Nickelback's first album was their best, also their worst, because all of their albums are their worst.
Oh.
It's the Kobayashi Maru of albums. That's a Star Trek reference.
Let me just check. Let me just check that. Let
It's
me
the
just
no-win
fact check that.
situation.
Let me just. Are you just going to go and listen to all of Nickelback's albums? Like, hold on.
It depends what one you think is their first album, because they did actually have an album before the one that had.
I don't know.
This is how you.
Oh, really? I had
remind
no
me."
idea. All I remember is all
Yeah.
of their
So-
songs sound the fucking same, and I'm just
First
They have an
album-
album before that.
First album was Curb, 1996, according to this.
Carb. Oh, Curb.
Curb.
Sorry.
Curb. Curb.
Oh, like, they're all on diet. All right, great.
It was the Atkins. It was the Atkins of rock releases that year.
Yeah,
don't recognise that
all their albums sound a little
at
bit
all.
thin, don't they?
And then they had 1998 was the State. State. I don't recognise any tracks of that either.
Carp, the fish.
No, the one that everyone knows.
What was the one?
The one that everyone knows.
Here we go.
2000
Album 3. Album 3.
Is that
Silver
that?
Side Up. Silver Side Up. How You Remind Me. Never Again. Yeah. I recognise this.
Yeah, because that was. I think it was released through Roadrunner. That's why you recognise it.
You're allowed to like what you want. You're allowed to like what you
It
want
was.
to like, Starry. So if you like it, that's fine. We're just gonna make fun of it.
Because I bought that album. I bought that album because Roadrunner Records had released it, and I was like, Roadrunner won't see me wrong. And then I realised that they would.
What was the one? There was one after that was alright, actually. What was the one?
Wasn't their
Oh,
latest one
you
like
are-
super gentle or something?
Super what?
What the fuck?
Genty.
Super
I
Jenny.
don't know how to, it was like they had some crazy heavy sound on it. I was like, it's not bad. It's also not that good, but it's not that bad.
What was the one that started with the double bass drums again? What was that one? What the fuck?
Chris,
was
you're a
that?
Nickelback
Why
fan.
were you listening to Nickelback after that fucking album?
It's a-
There's the
it's
more
a-
important question.
It's a good family album to listen to in the car, all right?
It's shite.
That
It's a
being
good
said,
family
it's a
album
good
to listen to in
family
the car.
album. Was it All the Right Reasons? That sounds familiar? Yes, I think it was. I think it's
All the right reasons not to listen to this album.
Chris, you
One,
brought up
it's released
Nickelback.
by Nickelback.
Chris, help us out here, man.
Oh no, get them. They had. What was the band they produced that were the better band?
Creed.
Remember? No, Creed. Creed were around before them.
Oh yeah, I
No,
know.
remember they
Wasn't
had
it
the band.
Stone Sour?
Puddle 'em Up?
No.
No,
They had
he
a
just
band-
was
there
on
a
their
band
song
that
or something.
They had on their label or something, or they were heavier. They sounded identical to Nickelback, except they had better songs and were better and heavier.
Chris has never made it as a blind man. That's me. Sorry, I didn't choose to have shit eyes.
I'll come back to me. I'll come back. There was a band that
Right.
sounded very Nickelbacky, just were infinitely better.
I mean, there was a lot of them, to be fair.
yeah, but I think they were Nickelback adjacent in that there was either
Alter
one of
Bridge?
the guys was related to the. No.
No, they were all right.
You're going the
Two
Creedy
people
way.
suggested it, so it might be.
No.
All the Bridge wasn't bad.
Alter Bridge, what's his name? Mark Tremonti, fucking incredible guitar player.
Good guitarist.
Yeah.
Miles
You're
Kennedy.
getting Creed and
good vocalist.
Nickelback muddled up here. No.
Breaking
Either way,
Benjamin.
it's a fucking. I wasn't Breaking Benjamin, no.
No, fuck's sake. Come on, chat. Where are you at tonight? Where's the answers here? What are you here
More
for?
answers. Oh, check out Duncan's furious Google face.
All right. Let's have a look. Oh, there he goes.
Behemoth. Theory of a Dead Man, Shine Down.
Theory of a
Theory
Dead
of a
Man.
Dead Man.
That's the
There
one.
we go.
There we go.
There we
Congratulations
go.
to Ravok, you win fuck all.
100 times better than Nickelback, and they are the Nickelback that we should have got.
What? The worst
They're a better
shite?
band than Nick. They're
No. Theory of
better
Dead
than
Man was
Nickelback.
shite.
Better
Weren't
than
as bad as Trapped.
Better than Nickelback.
They weren't better than Nickelback.
Yep, they were. And they have some fine songs, according to the lady that posted that. Have a rock. Whatever you pronounce that. I'm Scottish, which means I can't pronounce it. that's my excuse for everything. Can you come into work early? I'm Scottish. I can't do that. So cool.
So
cool.
how did we
Right,
go to
well,
Nickelback? How did we go into Nickelback in the
Oh,
first place?
I have no
Daughtry.
idea.
I wondered what Starry was saying. She was just like, daughter. I'm like, she's not in here.
Daughtry. Oh,
Dave
Daughtry, my
Daughtry.
man.
Dave's been to see
Fucking-
Daughtry.
I fucking interviewed Daughtry.
You
That
did
big- that
actually
dude.
back in the day. That's right.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I watched him back on the old American Idol days.
Oh, shit.
Chris Daughtry. Now we're going back and showing Dave's embarrassing TV habits. That's right.
I mean, is it
Daughtry.
worst thing in the
Daughtry was
world to
all right. I
watch?
mean, he was very, very radio friendly, but good voice though.
Is it the worst thing? Like, I mean, is it the American one better than the British one?
Oh, 100 times, yes.
So, like I'm saying, I'm not going to judge you for watching the American one because the people that go into that can actually fucking sing. I
Yeah.
mean, and you get a mix of different styles. You get pop stars, country stars, all that on that one show. Where in the UK one, they all have to sound like an American pop star or they don't get through.
Yeah.
So, right,
Shite.
do you want my one, which is completely non-controversial at all? And if
Fuck's
anyone
sake.
disagrees with me, then you're fucking shite.
All right.
How about this one? Talking about singles being released from a band, I think this album had like 6 singles. It was played to death. The Darkness, Permission to Land.
Ah, yeah, you're completely
Yes.
right with that.
Best album by a mile. They've
Yep.
never...
Not even
few after it.
close.
No.
Yep.
It's a perfect... Once again, the gimmick,
Yep,
the songs,
yep,
Oh,
the sound,
yep.
perfect.
I was
Yep.
I was
And then-
listening to that the other day actually.
Really?
It's a great album.
Yeah,
It's a good
That's a
palette
great
cleanser,
album.
that one.
yeah.
It's just a fun listen. It is a fun listen. That whole
is,
album is fun to listen to.
Yeah.
And it was played so much. Like I think we all forget how much that and not just that, the singles were played so fucking much
Yeah.
in the space of like a 3-year period. I just felt like they'd had 6 albums out, and it wasn't. It was one album with like fucking 6 singles. So
Yeah. And it was a good
So
album.
there's some love, some hate in the chat for the Darkness. One hit wonder. I don't know about that.
I mean,
that album had like
It was
4
bangers.
really fucking great singles,
Yeah.
like really,
They,
really good ones.
They were
something
actually.
happened, but I didn't see what. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, carry on.
Yeah,
Something
the
happened on the
singles were
screen.
played absolutely everywhere. I mean, they're a one-hit wonder if you want to talk about albums. Yes, they have one album which
Aye.
is worth checking out, and then
Yeah.
the rest are not great at all. I think it's once again, I think it's fame.
Wow.
I think it's fame is the key to it. When bands become so big on that first album, the second album inevitably sucks.
Yeah. They just a little story about the Darkness. They were headlining the London Astoria before they were even signed.
Aye.
They played they toured constantly, but actually before they got signed, labels didn't actually want to sign them. They thought they were a bit of a joke, and then eventually they had Sony and Atlantic both wanted to sign them. I think they signed with Atlantic in the end. But then when they released that album, exploded. They
Yeah.
they were touring with Metallica at one point. You know what I mean? Like fucking crazy, fucking popular after that album. And then after that, the albums after that actually did really well, like sales wise. I think the album after
the
it still
songs
went
are
platinum,
not
but it was the album they did after that. It was produced by the guy that did a lot of the Queen albums. So it was like big name and stuff. So it did really well, like financially, but I don't know. I just didn't like it as much.
I
as the
likened
debut.
them. The weird thing about it is, I think it's because they almost tried to, on some level, shine away from the gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
To an extent,
they did. Yeah.
A little bit. Which I was going to say that's what caused the issue, but then I'm thinking, if I was to put Steel Panther on this list, the Feel the Steel with their first album,
Yeah.
there's a band that steered into the gimmick, and the follow-up albums weren't as good either. And
Yeah.
like weirdly enough, Steel Panther are a band that I liken very much to the Darkness. I think they're the American version of the Darkness, in that what the Darkness were doing
Darkness
for
were pish.
70s. Yeah, well,
Fucking knew it.
For what
The Devil Horns. I knew he'd be here.
Yeah,
That's Paul Kearney.
For what the
Gotta be.
Darkness were doing for like almost cringy 70s kind of rock for the UK, Steel Panther does for
Steel
what I
Panther
class
are
as-
hilarious, and you can't deny.
They're amazing live. I saw them play with Motley Crue. They opened for Motley Crue and Def Leppard, and they outplayed Motley Crue and Def Leppard. They outplayed them. They were just like infinitely better than them. And they're old. They're not as young as you think they are. But yeah, they're a band that did the same idea. But
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if to answer the Devil Horns, and we know who you are with your name, Devil Horns.
Gotta be Kearney. Gotta be.
The theme here is bands that peaked on their first album, and with that, I stand by my statement of The Darkness and Permission to Land. They peaked
True story.
with their first album. Thank you very much.
They went a lot more, as you say, they lost their quirk and went a bit more accessible, but I don't know, I maybe put that down to the Christmas single. After that album came out, they released that single.
Don't let the bell
Yeah,
fall.
that's the one. And then after that, I think they were just like seeing all the dollar, and they were just like, yeah, fuck this. Let's just do
I mean,
radio
there's a part of
friendly
me
stuff.
that thinks, listen, let's be, as much as we're sitting here wearing whatever t-shirt Dave's wearing, the sick t-shirt over there and all the rest,
Rob Zombie.
as much as we want to say it, see if we had an amazing fucking album that came out and it was commercial and poppy, and we got asked to do a Christmas single and then what that. Listen, see if you just keep doing this sound, we will give you all the money.
Yep.
I would just keep doing that sound and take all the. I'm a shell like fuck. I will sell you two out if a better podcast comes along. That's all. If some other Twitch stream tries to pick me up, I'm going that way. Show me the green.
Discordia Dystopia, hello. Welcome to the Metal Epidemic podcast, where
Hello.
we're talking about the Darkness, which is about as metal as a puddle of mud.
Yeah.
See what I did there? They're not metal at all.
I thought you were going to link that into Puddle of Mud's first album. She fucking hates me.
That's the best song they ever wrote, and also the only one. So I mean, it's not even on my list, and it didn't occur to me because what fucking me have I not thought of that
They've had
band
that
since I
bloody
saw
song.
them live in 2007.
Everything is blurry,
2003.
nothing's going on. And then you watch him sing that Nirvana song last year, and it was the greatest thing
Oh,
that ever. Oh,
that was amazing.
Man, the face.
That was internet gold.
Oh man, yeah.
I thought this was a metal podcast. Well, have we got news for you?
Yeah. Did you not hear us sing Spice Girls on the last Twitch? If
Yeah.
you want to be my lover.
Oh,
This is the Pop Epidemic show.
so
Anyway.
yeah, the darkness.
So yeah, no one disagrees with the darkness.
No, not at
No.
all.
I will
Can't
take
even.
that for a win.
They, I think they've got a new album out this year actually. They went through like loads of weird kind of like breakups and reunions and side projects and stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm sure, I think they all came back
Yeah,
together.
something like a little while ago, which was supposed to, was it not like an EP and it was going to lead to an album or something? I vaguely remember, and I listened to it and I actually liked it, so I didn't think it was amazing.
Chris has
but
brought up a good
from
one.
what I heard, it was fine.
Papa Roach.
Well,
Technically, not their first album.
not their first album. Infest
Chris, you
was
brought up a
not.
Once
shit
again, it was
one. I tried to defend
originally-
you. I tried to say it was good. It
It
wasn't.
was on my list. It was on my. It was one of the reasons I sparked the thing with Dave. It's on my list, but they did actually have a full studio album released before that.
Yep.
At least one, maybe even two. I think it's one.
Did
No,
you hear
but
their
yeah.
last one? No, you didn't.
Did they not have one out this year as well? I think.
Fuck, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
think
God.
they have. I think they do.
Papa Roach,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we got an album out. Nobody cares, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe your family might because they're being nice to you, but other than that, new.
Oh yeah, there's no disagree. Infest is their peak
Yeah.
by far.
100%.
Infest is a
Yeah.
fucking great new metal album.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Speaking of new metal,
Yeah.
how about this one?
Oh, go for it.
Disturbed.
I don't disagree with that. It's their best. Dave, don't you start your shit. It's their Down with the Sickness is their
Listen.
best album.
I'd just like to check the facts.
You thought that too. Okay, the debuts that once you've heard, and not only that, but once you've heard that one song they had as a single, "Down with the Sickness" or whatever the fuck it was called, you've heard all of their songs. That's it.
There's
That's
that
their
great
entire
fake-
sound.
There's the great that great. If you've never seen it before, you should YouTube fake Disturbed Greatest Hits
Yeah.
advert, and it's like listen to Disturbed's greatest hits as they perform na 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 ma na na ma na ma na ma na, and then it's like na ma na ma na ma na. Great songs like na ma na and na ma na na ma na na. It's absolutely
sounds great.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
Down
enough.
with the Sickness is the
Yeah.
album that
Okay. I'll give you
way
that.
back in the day, right?
Way back in the day.
When I wanted to, when I wanted to start
2004-ish.
no, 2000 and 2000 actually, I think it was.
Was it 2000?
Um,
Fuck it. I was
yeah.
on a lot of drugs back then.
2000,
Ooh.
2001? 2000?
2000.
Yeah,
Was
2000.
it 2000? Holy fuck.
Yeah, the reason I know this is because I got the album and I was trying to get, I was at college with Dave studying music production, and I was trying to get Dave to be in a band with me because we had a college band, and Dave would not be in a band with me. And then I was like, well, you know people, get me a guitarist. And Dave pointed to who would eventually become the future guitarist in our band, who was in the year below us at college. And he plays guitar, he'll play in your band. And then I started chatting to him, and he wasn't interested in anything, and he hadn't heard Disturbed, and I bought it that day, and I put it on, and it was I think it was, it wasn't even it's the one that starts with boom, da, ba, dun, 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 dun. It's gonna
Any
annoy me.
Disturbed song.
It wasn't Down with the Sickness, it was another
Voices? No.
Stupefy.
Stupefy.
I can't
Oh, yeah,
hate
yeah.
on new metal at all
Stupefy.
because I love it.
So-
I'm not going to sit here
Yeah.
and say I no longer love new metal.
Oh
I've
no,
loved it since it came
I
out, and I love it
unabashedly
now.
love, yeah,
Yeah, I'm just like-
unabashedly love new metal. I still listen to new metal. I don't,
Yeah.
and it'll come back. It's the 20-year rule. All the bands this year, once they stop being as heavy.
I'm
'cause
currently
Dave
not
will only
writing
let
a
us
new
listen
metal
to
album, but
heavy
I will be
music.
tomorrow.
Yeah, every other band is new metal, apart from Unique Leader Records, who consistently release the heaviest fucking sounding shit ever.
Jesus
And it's just getting heavier.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's just getting
How?
heavier. But anyway,
I just every time they release something, it's like this is heavier than the last thing you did, and I don't fucking
the
understand
most
how.
disgusting. It's the most disgusting label ever, and it's amazing, right? But they had.
I'm not gonna
I li-
rap, Raven. No fucking way. This will be new metal without rap. Because I tried it once and I
Do it,
won
Ken.
the competition, but that's only because I know all the words to that Wu-Tang song. Forgot the name of it, but I do.
Yeah, he knows the words but doesn't know the name. That's how
Forget
fucking
But
amazing he
I
is.
won the rap battle in college. I did.
So I'll let
Bring
I'll
the
let
Pain.
my-
That's the name of the song.
Bring the pain.
There you
the
go.
Pain.
I thought it was a metal song.
Bring the
Listen to it.
motherfucking
Wasn't metal.
rockers.
Learn the words anyway.
I let this guy listen to it, and off the back of that, he was like, "Do you want to sound like that?" Which we never sounded like, by the way. Because that whole album, once again, it's a new metal. They were a band that they were definitely new metal, but did not sound like any other new metal band. But then that's the problem. Their second album was Believe, and it wasn't very good. It had about 3 good songs in it. And then they had that album with the Land of Confusion cover, which, I mean, if you're murdering fucking Phil Collins, you need shot in the dick.
Didn't they do
Like,
another cover
seriously.
recently? Or probably wasn't that recent.
The Sound of Silence.
Fuck
And
me.
trust
Oh,
me,
yes.
you know what the Sound of Silence should sound like? Silence.
Silence. Yeah. Not
Should not
disturbed.
be him. Another pound of hay.
The reason I bring it up is because Google showed me some article about David Draymond, right? If you don't know, he's the singer for Disturbed. And the most interesting thing he was talking about in that was how he no longer wears those 2 piercings he had.
That was
And
literally
just-
it. I remember there was as much written in the press about that as there was when Metallica cut their long hair.
I know.
I'm like, this is fucking. And like, I saw them live twice, and he's the funniest fucking front.
Does he have a PhD?
Yeah, like PhD and fucking Pearson. Like that's like he's like he was on stage as fucking
Yeah, go for it,
brilliant.
Ravik. Post it in Discord too, so I can check it out later. Sorry.
He was on stage and like he does this every time. Like they're I don't know. They're one of those bands that when you hit a certain level in America of fame, you will just like you get linked to like playing for the military and stuff like that. You instantly just become like super famous. But he's fucking amazing live. It's like, all my children, all my brothers, my sisters, my blood, from the underground to the front ground. And you're just, it's just fucking, every single song is just the greatest shit ever. It's just the greatest shit ever. That album front to back. They even had the Shout cover on it for Tears for Fears.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, fucking love that cover. So yeah,
It wasn't as good as Spin Me Round by Dope.
Oh, that is one of the
which
best
isn't
covers
as good as
ever.
Blue Monday by Orgy. So there you go. Boom. Boom. That's right.
I can't see
Orgy
anything in
may or
his
may not be on
Wikipedia.
my list, by the way.
Somebody look
I don't know
that
if
up.
I'm gonna use it. Right, let's say, so that's Down with the Sickness.
Oh, why bother?
And if it had not been for that album, we wouldn't have had Richard Cheese covering Down with the Sickness on
That is
the
the
Dawn of the Dead
band.
remix
Maybe I
soundtrack.
changed my mind. That is the best cover of a metal song.
It's kind of amazing. So,
Mother,
right,
get
Dave?
up, come on, get down with the It's so
The
good.
Sickness, yeah. Mother, you
one of
better get down with it. Sorry.
What are you saying about?
I'm doing Richard Cheese. Like, you motherfucker, you get down
Is that
with the
your jazz
sickness.
album, swing album
That
next
is-
year?
You
It
never listened
is.
to Richard
It's
Cheese?
lounge covers of
No.
metal songs. You've never
Metal
heard it.
songs. Oh, he's
I
fucking
maybe heard
amazing.
it and never realised who it was, but
Yeah,
Isn't
Richard
it?
Cheese. It's worth checking out.
I
Well,
thought
you hate it, Dave.
everybody on Earth was born listening to that album.
Dave will fucking hate it, so let's not push it. out.
It's no Nine Inch Nails. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Right, Dave.
One day you will like it.
moving on.
He'll never like it. It spites us now.
I'm going out my way to hate it now, Kyle.
Just
Okay.
for you.
Okay, I'm gonna. Duncan veered away from metal with the darkness, so I'm going to veer away from metal a wee bit on this one as well. I had to mention it. One of the biggest selling rock bands in history. They sold over 100 million albums, and not yet. Love or hate them, they used to sell out tours and arenas and festivals or stadiums like with absolute ease. They also released an album with the most expensive production cost in history, somewhere around $14 million. Duncan mentioned it earlier. The band
Oh,
are
fuck. All right.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Guns N' Appetite for Destruction.
Appetite for
I
Destruction.
don't think I'm gonna disagree with that.
No, I don't think anybody can. To be fair, I think
Reasons.
it's like the best-selling debut of all time.
Yeah.
Like one of the best-selling albums of all time. And I wouldn't even say I'm like a die-hard fan of. I'm laughing at.
Demented Ravens just shoved in Chinese democracy again. Technically, they had band change members. So that's their first album. So
Yeah, over $14 million production cost on that album. Chinese Democracy.
$14 million.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you do with
Aye,
$14
it
million
took them,
for a
but it
goddamn
took them.
album?
It took them. I think they forgot to stop renting the studio for 15 years, so the cost just accrued.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's how that. By the way, that right there is how rich Axl Rose is. That he can pay $14 million for a studio, because I can't imagine the label paid that, right?
Fuck
And
no.
that didn't hurt him at all, like even a little bit.
Nah.
What's weird is that doesn't hurt him, but somebody wearing a t-shirt of Motley Crue and it will hurt his feelings.
Oh, he hates Motley Crue. It's amazing. Because remember, they were rebelling against all that. You know, we're not that. We're edgier, man. We're edgier.
Well, yeah.
We like Satan
We're
and
edgy
stuff,
Motley
yeah.
Crue. And then you know,
Nice.
that went the way it went.
Devil
I don't-
Horns.
I don't
First
disagree with you.
ever gig, it was Guns N' Roses at Wembley.
There you go.
Ah. My first gig was Alice Cooper and Dio in the Bournemouth International Centre, which is about a third the size of a third of Wembley.
Nice.
My first gig was Slipknot at the Barrowlands.
Hey!
Nice. Machine Head, Barrowlands.
Yeah.
My first
There
gig.
you go. So there you are.
Yeah. Anyway, Appetite for Destruction. Very little filler on that album. It's a very hooky, anthemic album, front to back.
You've been to the BIC? It's fucking awful, isn't it?
The BIC.
The Bournemouth International Centre in the south of
The
England.
Bic.
The Bic. It's about the size of a pen.
Oh, I've got some new metal love.
Nice.
Rav,
Or a razor.
Papa Roach, and Head PE.
Machine
Nice.
Head was my first metal love too. Yes, we went through this in the last podcast. That was my first ever metal album. Was Machine Head. My mum gave it to me because she had it on cassette tape. She was too heavy for me. All right, and I loved it. So there we go. Entire podcast,
Head.
14 seconds.
This is why he's here.
Okay.
Previously on, yeah, he could do the previously on Twitch from the
Yeah,
month before.
yeah.
Previously on Twitch.
Eh,
I love Machine Head. He loves them as well. Boom.
Machine Head. Machine fucking Head. Yeah, so like for a debut,
Yes.
I would I think they, as a band, they were together a couple of years before that album was released, so they were constantly playing it like in LA, the circuit in LA, so
Yeah.
they had like plenty of time to kind of fine tune a lot of these songs, but it is a absolutely superb debut album.
This is the weird thing about, like, you are my oldest friend, not as in the age, but as in time
Yeah.
together. And I would never in a million years peg you as someone that likes that album.
Really?
We've never spoken about Guns N' Roses ever.
No.
Like, me and you have known you right now for 22 years, Dave, and we've played in bands together. You know, I was the best man at your wedding, you were the best man at my wedding, and we have literally never spoken about Guns N' Roses. So,
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that conversation would have just been their first album's their best album. Aye, right, cool. You know what I mean? That's literally what. Because I can't imagine us getting in depth about the lyrical
Have you got
content.
like a pool of dark secrets you're just testing the waters with? Like I
don't
might
know,
like
it's
Guns
like
N'
one of those-
Roses.
It's like one of those weird things where you just.
Yeah, I had them on cassette. I had Appetite for Destruction. I had Spaghetti Incident, and I had Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 on cassette. And some of those albums are okay. Like there's some decent tracks on Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Had some big hits in those albums, but like in terms of like consistency, they weren't close to matching Appetite for Destruction, in my opinion. And let's not even get on to Chinese Democracy, because that's just
What about his stint in AC/DC?
what about it?
It's still better than Chinese fucking democracy.
I listen. Spineshank are a fucking great band, but their second album is the best album.
I agree. I was listening because I thought I got those two albums mixed up. What's it called?
Yep.
Strictly Diesel and
Everyone
Height of
forgets
Callousness.
about that first
Yep,
album.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
did. Because it came out in like 1998 before.
Plus,
New metal.
it's written like if you listen to it, it's basically it's written by Dino Kazars.
Yeah.
Like he was heavily involved
Right.
with the production, with the
so
songwriting, and all
good.
the rest. So that whole first album is written pretty much by Dino Kazars. And then the second album, which is the better album, was written by the band. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I listen to Spineshank not all the time, but quite often.
Fucking
love
Paul's
him.
in here going, Chinese
Yeah.
democracy is underrated, and he's going to slag me off for mentioning the fucking
Chinese
darkness.
democracy is underrated, just like... No, it's not. Can't even think of a funny thing because it's just fucking not.
How is it underrated? It was the most anticipated release of all time, and it wasn't good. So
It
that
just
means
wasn't. Yeah. It's like...
it's not underrated. It was shit.
I don't think critically it did that bad.
I'm getting sacked from Metal
Yeah,
Epidemic.
let's take a second here. Metallica are a great example of this. Like
There we
where
go, Pixie,
the beer
yeah.
goggles come off, and that every album they release is fucking amazing. And then 5 years later, they're like, we need to talk about how great, how not great this album is. Like, there's a certain level where reviewers will not review an album bad, and then 5 years later, an edgy reviewer comes
Metal
up and
Hammer.
writes. Yeah, Metal Hammer apologised for the review of Saint Anger, which they shouldn't
I
have, because
agree.
Saint Anger's the best
Amazing.
Metallica album. So, you know what I mean? Like, but they apologised for the review they gave it, which was 5 stars, I think. Sorry, 10 out of 10. And then they came back a couple of years later and apologised for it. So,
I agree. Them Metallica getting muted on Twitch for DMCA was...
That was
fucking
pretty
hell.
funny.
And I was like, fuck that old man band. Hi, my band. We're DMCA safe. We are. I own the label that they're released on. I'm never going to come in after anybody for playing it on stream. So
remember when Lars Ulrich tried to stop Napster because he didn't like the idea of music being streamed?
right. And then they went on a streaming
Arsehole.
service to play their music, and they got fucking muted. So that's karma up your ass.
Yeah. Hey, Saint Anger's round his neck.
Saint
He
Anger
never
was
gets
some of the
respect.
riffs and stuff on Saint Anger are actually great, and some
The
of the,
lyrics are Invisible Kid never knew where he hid.
Yeah,
That's
come on.
fucking poetry, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking poetry. Fran tick 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 tock.
yeah, come on, man. He was
That's time ticking
predicting.
down to his
He was
frantic nature.
predicting apps back in 2003.
Yep.
Saint Anger.
I think
Whose
like
son is
see
it
when I see
now?
Saint, I don't like I see Saint Anger as Metallica's best album because I know it upsets Metallica.
It does.
You guys have some truly controversial takes. Oh, we're just honest. Like,
So
Yeah. So that's my next pick. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
you know what? Maybe we'll come in with David Bowie. Except I can't.
Aye,
because-
right. I was going to do this one, but actually I'm not going to do it now because we've mentioned the members of the band in a different bit. So I was going to mention Audio Slave with their
Actually, that's
self-titled.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Audio
yeah.
Slave's
Yeah.
first album is fucking the tits, and everything else is not as good.
Yeah.
By quite a bit. But I'm not
True.
going to do that because I've already mentioned Rage Against the Machine. So
All right. There we go.
gets that one at the list.
Looking while working. All right, Adra. Great. Hope you're
Depending
enjoying
on how
this.
we look at this, Dave. Depending on how we look at this.
This camera's shit.
Right, I need a judgment call here. I need a judgment call.
All right.
Okay.
Is this their first album, or is their album that had limited release before actually an album? But I would say After the Burial in Rare Form.
Ooh.
They do technically have an album before it, but it's on a nothing label, and it was a limited release. And Rare Form is their first on a proper label. So if you don't want that, I've got plenty more. So, and I stand by that statement. Rare Form's their best album. So
I would agree, but I think that
if you call it out, Dave, I will drop it for something else.
I've not listened to it, so drop it.
yeah.
Have you never listened to Rare
What?
Form?
No, never.
Oh, dude, be prepared to have your mind fucking
Kyle.
blown.
All right. Send it
After
over.
the Burial, Rare Form. Get it on right now.
I
Wait,
would.
no,
but I
wait,
don't wanna
what
get
one do we
DMCA
give him? Do we
stricken.
give him the
After
original
the
one or the? Do we give him the original one or the remastered one, Dave?
The remaster.
Oh, what do we do? What do we do?
The remaster.
Devil Horns hasn't heard
Oh.
it either. I'm not.
It's
opening
all
it.
fucking 8-string
that
guitars,
doesn't-
it's
that doesn't
brutal,
surprise me.
techy, and fucking amazing.
I'm sold.
It's amazing.
What we
Amazing.
saw them. Was it on the Rare Form tour? They're maybe the best sounding band I've ever heard at the Cat House.
Oh, Kalmar. Kalmar definitely peaked with their first album. Absolutely.
They were fucking amazing.
And then they just made the same album 10 more
I
times.
will, I will throw that away right then because Dave is. Right, so that's it the way. Right, cool. Let's do one that I don't think anyone disagree with. Let's go with. Technically, we've got 3 albums, which makes me feel okay in saying A Perfect Circle and Merde No.
Yeah, I don't think I was actually gonna say the same thing. I really was, but I didn't put it on my list because I was like, are they metal? Yeah, they're metal, but I'm not gonna say it because I know Duncan.
Oh yeah.
will.
Yeah. Perfect Circle, Merde No. I enjoy which means Sea of Names, by the way.
I enjoy when you say that.
Merde No. So, the first album, fucking great. I love it. Like front to back, I don't think there's any filler on it. I think it's an amazingly written, recorded album. It's the first one where you get Maynard really doing vocals without effects. You know, like, but doing more of the singy stuff and less of the angsty stuff, which then swings right into what he started doing with Tool afterwards.
Yeah.
I think it's got. I mean, how is it not? This is the bit that fucking infuriates. How is it not a metal album? It's got metal fucking riffs on it.
It does.
Because it doesn't have blast beats in it.
You don't need blast beat disc.
It's a
Thank
metal album.
you.
Judith is a metal song.
Thank you, Discordia Dystopia, for subscribing for 2 months.
It's, I don't know.
Metal song.
It's
Awesome.
kind of alternative, maybe.
See,
don't know.
metal song.
I
But
don't.
yeah,
I'm not the biggest fan, so
I know you. Like, I remember trying to get you into them at the time, and you were like, "No." The thing is, their second album has once again really, really good songs, but there's so much filler in that second album. It's kind of almost off-putting. Plus, when we saw them live on the second album, they changed the composition of a lot of their songs to make them work live, which to me is never a good sign. Never, like, see when you're changing the composition to play them live. I don't like bands that, I like it on the occasional song where you heavy up something, but they did it with about 4 songs from that album, which is as a strike against you. But the first album, I think front to back is really well written. I think it's their best lineup as well. It was different. It was, it showed off like some really talented musical kind of compositions and songwriting, melodies in particular. Like some of the stuff that Maynard does on that album rivals anything he's done with Tool. Like in terms of, he hits a note at one point, he just fucking holds it forever. And I don't think he's the sort of guy that would use production techniques to do that. He's too kind of weird. But yeah, to me, and they had one out a couple of years ago, Emotive or whatever it was called. Fucking.
Oh yeah.
I don't like a and it wasn't very good. It was an okay album, but it wasn't as good as that first one.
Sea of Names. I'm not going to try and pronounce it in French because I'll just.
Merde no.
It just sounds like you're saying I don't know, but you're drunk.
Mer is C. De
I know
is of.
that.
No is
I get
names.
that.
Merde no.
I took high school French. Chris is half French, so he teaches me French when he's angry at me. But if I try,
Ferme la bouche.
there you go.
Yep.
A bird in the hand is one.
So yeah, I'm going to go with that. But does anyone disagree? Well, Dave's not going to disagree because Dave doesn't listen.
Don't
know. Kyle?
No, I can't disagree. Perfect Circle's first album, Murder Whatever, is great. And it's the best one. And then
Murder Whatever is what you just said.
Yeah.
The first album, Murder Whatever.
Murder Whatever. Oh yeah. Give me some Murder Whatever.
He's talking about another murder. Oh, it's for the greater good. The greater good.
Yeah, great.
Yep. There we go. That was my one. Perfect Circle, Murder No.
No.
Bring it,
Kyle, you got anything else?
Yeah, I've got a few.
he did have 5. I just
Really?
took one from him, which
Yeah.
you can think of. I'll give you one if you want, Kyle.
No, it's alright. I've got some more. I've got some backups.
No. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What I'm going to say is I'm going back to new metal because that's apparently all I listen to. But this one, it's a bit tragic because like the first album was definitely the best, but the other albums weren't as good because members weren't no longer with the band.
Ooh.
And I think Duncan knows what I'm going with. But
No, I don't. This is why I was like, ooh, because I can't think of like.
War of Art.
Members.
American Head Charge. The War of Art.
Ah, yeah, it's on my list actually.
Yep.
American Head Charge, The War of
That
Art.
wasn't
Yep.
that wasn't their first album, though, was
Fuck off, was it not their first album?
Technically not their first album. Technically they had an album before.
it?
Bastard.
Try to sneak
All
that
right,
in there, Kyle, did you? Try to
strike-
sneak that in? Think I wouldn't catch you there?
Strike it from
I
the
mean,
list.
it wasn't on a major record label. It was on a small label, kind of similar to
A
what
label's a label. A
Slipknot
label.
did with their first album, but
But they didn't
I
call
mean-
it a demo, I guess.
Wasn't it a demo?
no, they toured with it.
All right.
Out-toured
All right,
with it,
strike that
so-
one. American Head Charge, War of Art, their best album.
Good one though. I don't disagree with you. The War of Art is the best American Head
All right,
Charge.
this one's a bit different because the dude left one band to go out on his own, and this is his first album.
It's
but
also on my list as
yeah,
well. So I love
but
the fact that you're going
it's
with
their
this.
first fucking album, and it's the best one. Rob Zombie,
Is it
Hellbilly Deluxe.
Hellbilly Deluxe?
Best
Yeah.
Rob Zombie
Fucking
album.
hell yeah.
Even though The Sinister Urge has Scum of the Earth on it, which I think is his best fucking song, I fucking love that song, and
Yeah.
there's going to be more news on that later. But Hellbilly Deluxe is the best
Is
Rob
that
Zombie album.
is that more news that the fact that Riggs, the guitarist who formed a band called Scum of the Earth, was seen posed this week with a brand new 8-string guitar, which he's playing on their new
That was
album,
the
and I was
news.
like, "You're
Yep.
playing 8 strings? You only have 3 chords.
Right?
Most of your songs are open string.
The thing-
Dun, 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 dun.
thing with the
what do you
three-
need 8 strings for, you fucking madman?
A thing with 3 chords and 8 strings, you can have more chords.
Dun, dun,
Just
dun,
change
dun,
the
dun,
position.
dun, dun, dun. I really like Scum of the Earth. I think Scum of the Earth are a fucking... Like, see, where people moan that Rob Zombie doesn't sound like old Rob Zombie, they're not listening to Scum of the
Yeah,
Earth,
they got it.
which is just old sounding Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, Hellbilly Deluxe, sorry.
I still get
yeah, his
goosebumps
best
listening
one.
to Dragula. Still.
It's a flawless
amazing.
album.
It's great. From
There's not a
beginning
bad
to
song on
end.
that album.
And the intro
Not a
to
bad
what's
song.
that one? Near the end, the 13th song. I can't remember the name. I'm terrible with names today, but fuck, it's so good. It's like the horror movie intro with the clip, and then the organ comes in. It's like, it's so good. I love it.
That's every Rob Zombie song.
Well,
It's either, listen, like the intro to a Rob Zombie song is either a clip from an old horror movie, right?
Yeah,
or
but
one
this
of the
one's
Manson
special, and I
girls
don't know
before
why.
their trial.
yeah.
It's one of the Manson girls before the trial. She said, "I'm already dead." Dum, dum, dum,
Yeah.
dum, 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 dum.
But that one was special.
Burn an
and I
X
don't
in
know
your
why.
forehead. Down, down, down. Like, oh, fuck it. And that's White Zombie as well. That's not even Rob Zombie.
There you go,
Oh,
yeah.
listen to that right now. Astro
no.
Creep 2000.
Hellbilly, and I don't think anybody would disagree because, come on, it's brilliant, and I don't know. I think it might be the best thing he's ever done, including the movies. Like, well, maybe
Better
House
than
of-
White Zombie though. Better than White Zombie.
Well, I listened
See, I
again
think
to.
I think Astro Creep 2000 is better than Hellbilly Deluxe.
Oh, really?
If I'm honest.
Really?
I really like that album. I really
Yeah, I like it too, but it doesn't have Dracula, and it doesn't.
It's not
have
as
Living Dead
polished.
Girl.
That's the difference is it's not as polished. Like the Hellbilly Deluxe sound like is still fresh right now, whereas
Yeah.
you listen to Astro Creep 2000, it sounds dated. It sounds like a 90s
maybe
album.
that's it.
So
I fuck his chainsaw remix, all right.
did Halloween not change? You didn't. It was Halloween remix, not Texas Chainsaw.
I
There we
didn't mind his Halloween stuff. It wasn't
Halloween
that bad.
shit.
It wasn't that bad.
No, because you know what you know how he ruined it. Dave?
when I
start
go
my-
to a Rob Zombie concert,
Welcome-
my favourite songs are White Zombie songs.
which you get screamed at. Like he does. The thing I don't like about the Halloween remakes, right, is that in the original Halloween movie, like this, you get me on the horror tangent here.
Here we go.
This is
Yep.
my thesis. This is what I submitted for my doctorate of horror university. Was why Rob Zombie ruined Halloween. The reason it's not as good as when you watch the original Halloween movie. He's just a kid that murders his sister, that gets locked up, and he, comes back to that town, does all the murdering and all the rest, gets shot loads of times, stabbed and all the rest, doesn't stop, is just relentless, and there is absolutely no justification for it. So at no point do you feel even remotely sympathetic for that character, because you shouldn't, because he's an unstoppable force, a killing machine. Rob Zombie's version, within, and I shit you not, within the first 5 minutes, there is an alcoholic, abusive stepfather who talks about face fucking. His mother's a stripper prostitute, right? He's mercilessly bullied at school, like fucking horrendously bullied at school. Kills some kids first, then kills his sister, then gets locked up, then starts murdering people in toilets, and then you go through all the sea of
But that
bullshit.
kind of makes sense, though. You know, a bit of context, a bit of background to the boy. You know,
But it's not
how he
scary.
got fucked up. I like
That's
that.
not scary. You know what's scarier? Not knowing something. Not
agree.
knowing why
Yep.
someone does something is, to me, scarier than... Rob Zombie tries to humanize Michael Myers at the start of that movie.
I
and
like to know
fuck
why,
that.
though. I like
Yep.
the why.
I don't.
I agree. In Flames' third album,
don't.
what was their peak?
I thought, I agree, and I was like, "That what the fuck, Kyle? You're like in flames." And I'm like, "Oh, he's on a different tangent." I
No,
don't like the. I
agree.
don't like the explanation
Explaining
at all.
Michael Myers' backstory was a fucking stupid move. It just
It's
was.
a bad move. I
What
don't
the
need
fuck?
to know why
It's
the killer's
scary.
a killer.
It's just like, why are you doing this to me? Like, you don't know. Like, it's more
Plus,
like.
it's like the house sits on a street where everyone lit, and the house is a creepy fucking house. It's all that. They never knocked it down. Like the whole list of things he just fucks up in that movie. Although his Laurie Strode, I'm gonna get shouted at here, is hotter than Jamie Lee Curtis. So hot. And seeing the second movie where she's wearing like the Nirvana top and she's all
Yeah,
kind of with
Rabbick's
the
got a
glasses
point.
and the
Same
blonde
with
hair.
Darth fucking
Oh!
Vader. Did he not need a backstory or what? Seriously?
No, did not need a
Fucking right.
backstory.
Yeah, but this was a remake. So if he'd remade it like for like, people would be like, "What the fuck was the point in remaking it?" He didn't.
I do agree that you should never, but then I would say don't remake that movie.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Take
I'm
a
like that
classic
movie's
horror movie
it's
and
a
let's
perfect
redo
horror
it.
movie.
Like, stupid.
I don't disagree. You can remake classic horror movies that can be better, but what you should try and do is I think it's modernizing, which is the difference. I don't think it's a modernized version. I think he went for it's bloodier, it's more shock and all the rest. Which is, you're right, that's what horror fans want. It doesn't equate to, like, to me, if we're doing the album thing, if you put down Halloween from 78 in front of me or Rob Zombie's Halloween, I will pick up Halloween 78. Whereas if you put John Carpenter's The Thing down with the thing that came from outer space from the 50s down, I'll pick up John Carpenter's Thing. If you put down The Fly and Cronenberg's The Fly, I'll pick up Cronenberg's The Fly. If you put down The Blob and the Blob from the 80s, I'll
Thank
pick
you,
up The
Raven.
Blob. So I think that's the difference. And all those movies don't add like backstory or anything like that. All they do is they modernise the reasons behind it. I never sat. I would say I'm in the minority here on that, because most people who aren't like hardcore fans of and actually Halloween's maybe one of my least favourite franchises. Will agree with you, Dave. That movie is the highest grossing Halloween movie that's ever been released until they released that one. Well, that one we saw in the pictures together. That it was the highest grossing Halloween movie ever fucking made. To that point, it was huge. It did huge business,
Story's
and it's
just
not
like-
a badly made movie. I just don't like the dialogue. Oh man, it's all face fucking chicken fucking mother. Like, I just don't get why everyone has to sound like a Rob Zombie character in a Rob Zombie movie. It drives me up the wall.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
that drives me up the wall with him too. Like House of a Thousand Corpses, it was like, yeah, you definitely made this movie. I can tell. And then all of the others after it, I'm like, just stop, dude. Go back to writing Hellbilly Deluxe.
You watch The Devil's Rejects. The Devil's Rejects is a really cool concept that has really
I
gnarly
know.
shit.
Right.
And then in the middle of that movie, there is a 3-minute dialogue where they go to buy chickens from a guy who accuses them for fucking chickens. You accuse me of fucking chickens? Like, there's a whole section. I'm like, why is this in the movie? Or Lords of Salem, which is this fucking incredible movie until the last 10 minutes.
Just
Where
fucking
it
off
goes
the
into
rails.
like there's a fucking there is a priest wanking dildos in a church, and the rest of the movie doesn't have that. And you're like, how did we end up here?
It's like after
And
he
his
got the
wife can't
concept,
act.
after he started doing the storyboarding and he got the script, he was like, well, the ending doesn't really work, and he just went off on a drugs bender, came back, and it was
man,
like,
it's just-
priest, dildos, church. And everybody around him was like, yeah, because nobody wants to say no to Rob Zombie.
It boggles my mind, because when I watched Lords of Salem, I was up to that point. I was like, this is fucking incredible. It looked amazing, sounded amazing, was creepy, weird, atmospheric, and I'm like, he's done it. He's finally done it, and then it's like fucking Fever Dream, the priest like that. And I was like, what the fuck? What the
Maybe he just wanted to ruin it.
I don't know. Anyway, Hellbelly Deluxe is his best
Yes.
album as Rob Zombie.
Yes.
I would say Astro Creep 2000 is
Power
the
Man
better.
5000 are not bad though. Was that one of theirs that they peaked on the first album?
No, because they
No.
have a whole. They have actually technically they have an album before that, which is it's a funk album. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
really?
one that has organised on it, and they had an EP before that called True Force. What's it? Mega Kung Fu Radio is the name of the album before it. And if you've never listened to Mega Kung Fu Radio, listen to it. It's before they started to sound like the sci-fi version of what Rob Zombie was doing.
Mega
So,
Kung Fu.
Mega Kung Fu Radio. It's fucking amazing. Love it.
Rav says, Chinese horror movies, Duncan, are you in? Stupid question.
Yes, let's do it.
Mega
Any
Kung Fu.
horror
Mr.
Radio.
Vampire for the win. So, oh man,
I saw Power Man 5000 with
Discordia,
Orgy. That must have been awesome.
I would have fucking cut off a testicle and sent it to you to be there. Audrey was garbage. Maybe not then. Weirdly, Audrey was on my list of bands to mention because Candy Ass is their best album, but I'm not going to mention it. So I'm going to tick it off my list.
It's a close one. It's a close one.
Their
I
second
didn't
album's
like.
really, really, really good
Is
as
it
well.
Vapor Transmission? Is that the
Vapor
second one?
Transmission.
Yeah, at first I wasn't sure it, but it really grew on me over time. That
Yeah.
second
It's-
album.
It's got better written songs, but to me, once again, it's better written and more commercial.
Yeah.
But their first album has more interesting songs because they're doing more kind of weird
Yep.
shit on it.
Yeah.
So, right, Dave.
Right. Who do I want to piss off? Duncan or Kyle? Duncan or Kyle?
Whom shall I piss off this minute?
I'm waiting for him to drop FF. I've been waiting all night. Is it not on your
No.
list?
They had an album before Demanufacture.
So they did. So they did. I think Roadrunner put it out as well, actually. So
I'm not sure.
I can't even use my argument.
Soul of a New Machine. I can't remember who put that out. It was way heavier than Demanufacture though.
Yeah. Right. So you're gonna piss? Hey, you're not gonna piss me off. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with Duncan then.
Come at me, bro.
I have to speak the truth here, Duncan. I just have to.
Right.
The debut album by Californian new metal band Cold Chamber.
Oh, that was on my list too. Yes, that's a truth right there.
Actually, Cold Chamber self-titled album is on my list. So
I thought you liked chamber music.
Chamber
Best.
Music's a great album, but it has.
I'm
it has
sure
about
you
4 or
said
5
that was your
It's got
favourite
about
album.
4 or 5 songs on it, which are not songs. They're just chamber music fillers. Which, once again, why is it on that album? Whereas
That's a
Thingamajig
surprise.
only has one song where they're going, "I am a mirror of the desert." Like, you're like, what the fuck is this song? La, 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 ba, come to my
Chamber's
tent, I'm
right
going to
there.
circumcise you. Like, you're never going to get a better song than Big Truck is the perfect song.
It's just and every
Stop
song. I
laughing.
mean, Loco, Sway,
Yep.
Oddity is Oddity was an
Oh.
album, wasn't it?
Oddity's got my favourite scream ever recorded.
Really?
There's a scream that he does on that honestly the hairs on the back of my neck go fucking full up. Chamber Music is the better recorded album, but
Oh,
Cold
yeah.
Chambers self-titled
Oh.
is the better album.
Yeah.
I was expecting a little bit of resistance from you in that one,
No,
Duncan.
told you. Come at me,
Paul Kearney says, "Can you peak when your best album is Pish?"
bro. If a Paul writes in the chat room and we don't read it out, does it exist?
Survey says
There we go.
no.
First album by Devil Driver. No, leave the chat right now. Leave the chat.
Swinging the dead.
Nothing
Dead
Devil Driver have done
swinging.
is worth talking about.
I actually really like that first Devil Driver album.
No.
because they don't sound thrashy yet. They still kind of sounds like a Cold Chamber hybrid.
Just shite. Everything they did was shite. It really is.
But it's bands that released their best album as their first album. So it is their best album.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, Cold Chamber, 97, Roadrunner Records, produced by Jay Gordon and Jay
Yeah,
Baumgartner?
Yeah,
Um,
Jay Gordon. Was it like,
who he went on to do loads of new metal stuff, like Seven Dust, Papa Roach, He did some
Jay
spine
Gordon
check stuff as
started
well.
Orgy.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Jay Baumgartner, did he?
No,
Jay
Jay Gordon
Oh, Jay Gordon. Yeah,
went
Jay
on
Gordon.
to sing in Orgy.
Yeah.
And Amir of the Desert that I'm talking about is Amir Derek, who plays guitar
Right.
in Orgy.
I see.
Who was like a production tech on that album or something.
So two dudes
Who
got
actually
together
has
and
a
named
whole-
their band Orgy. That is suspect.
I mean, there's a whole fucking there's a whole weird backstory with
course
Orgy
there
where
is.
Amir Derek was in a signed band beforehand, and Jay
Hmm.
Gordon's dad's actually a record producer. Like, I think he owned a label or something. That's kind of how they got their start. So it wasn't through hard work and merit, it was through knowing people.
I'm sorry,
that's how
Rav.
the
I'm sorry.
music biz works.
I'm sorry.
What have you done?
I'm sorry about the Devil Driver comment. I just don't like them. I'm sorry.
Rav loves Double
Good
Driver.
live, though. Good live. We saw them live.
Did we?
Me and you did. Yes, we did.
Did we? Devil
Yes, we
Driver.
did. At the QMU.
Who were they playing with?
The Agony scene opened, and then they were on second. I can't remember who the headlining band was.
Oh man.
Was that
How can you
Killswitch?
not
No? Was it
remember
Kill-
this? Was it Lamb
Killswitch?
of God?
I was going to say Killswitch, but
It's one of the two. It's either Lamb of God or Killswitch. It was at the QMU, and Devil Driver were the
Was-
support band.
All That Remains on the bill as well.
Yes,
Yeah, Killswitch.
Killswitch. There
Yeah,
we go.
I do not remember
So you
seeing
did
Devil
see,
Driver.
you can't even remember them. So that's
No.
they're great live comments. Just being like, pull.
That reminds me, there's a Behemoth Arch Enemy dual headline tour going on later this year, and I'm going to book tickets because I really want to see Behemoth. And they're going
Yeah.
on before Arch Enemy, which is great because I can go watch them and then go home early. Because who the
Yeah.
fuck wants to see Arch Enemy?
True story. Yeah.
Not since he changed singer.
No,
Obituary's debut. Fucking hell.
that takes me back.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
You haven't seen Killswitch since their
Since when? What? Killswitch?
since their original vocalist. I
Just thinking.
stopped halfway through a sentence. I don't know why.
Oh, let's not get any vocalists, because the original vocalist is far inferior to Howard Jones.
Well, I think that's what she just said. I think
Who
she
said-
says she hasn't. I'm saying she that may be
Yes,
me.
Howard.
Discordia Dystopia hasn't seen Killswitch since her original vocalist. I like Howard. Technically, Jesse was the vocalist before, then
Yeah.
left. Howard came in, and then Jesse came back.
Howard
Howard
is the best.
100%
100%.
with the Howard. We're Team
All the
Howard
Howard.
here. Hashtag Team Howard. Team Howard.
Yes.
Um,
Team Howard.
Their only
Right,
remaining
Dave, go on,
original
yours-
member is the bassist. That's all I know about Killswitch Engage.
what about Right, so you finished it, or do you have? more
What was I
comments
talking
for
about
Cold
there? Oh yeah, Cold Chamber. Yeah. Yeah. I think. Well, I had this big spiel I was going to get into, but since we're all agreeing, there's not really much point. But
Get into the spiel. I want to hear it. I want to hear.
I think it was a far memorable album compared to Chamber Music was all right, but I think they tried
say
to.
that, but I think Fiend was a more memorable single.
Fiend was all
Which is
right.
on the third album. Yeah,
That album was probably their heaviest album.
it's
That's
their
how it
heaviest.
is.
It's like- I think chamber music is mega memorable. I think there's tons of songs I like on that.
Yeah.
But once again, there's too much filler in the album, which annoys me.
really
Yeah.
is.
Don't like
I think
filler.
they tried to kind of distance themselves a wee bit from the kind of cliche new metal sound.
I should have just lent into it. They were really good at it.
What?
Yeah, they were.
Sharon, I don't know if you remember the famous Sharon Osbourne rant about them, because Sharon Osbourne was a manager. It's how they got on the Ozfest. It's also how Ozzy ended up singing on the
That Peter
Chamber
Gabriel
music
cover.
album.
Yeah, shock the
And
monkey.
then they partied ways with Sharon as a manager, and I think he said something about her, which is never a good idea, because like her or loathe her, Sharon Osbourne is pretty fucking brutal. Like, she's really
Yeah.
vicious. And she said, I signed this really cool, different
Hey, thank you,
sounding,
Raven.
edgy new metal band. And she goes, and then they showed up one day to record the album, and they looked like fucking Orgy. And that's literally what she said. And I was like, oh, that's kind of harsh. But then I look at what they look like, and yeah, they look like Orgy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not an attractive man. Jay Gordon would get it.
Thanks, Raven, for gifting that sub to Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, which I think is one of the best names I've seen on Twitch ever.
Yes.
Oh, I like that. I like how Scottish people actually type out their accents when they're typing. Like, near board. Which it's either no bother or you're talking to the person
Neighbour.
that lives by the side of you in the next house over.
Yeah, not neighbour. That's neighbour.
Yeah.
Neighbour.
You see?
Neighbour.
Can't tell.
Right, Neebs. He needs it up. Right, Neebs. Stand Shane.
Yeah.
And for those that
All
didn't
right.
know,
Yeah, so I think they peaked on that self-titled.
yeah.
I do like chamber music though. Like,
Yeah.
and when it first came out, I was a bit like, oh, it's a bit, a wee bit more, bit darker, a bit more kind of gothic in places. But it's another album that kind of grew on me over time.
I mean, to be honest, it was they
Comeback
coined the
album,
term,
though.
and don't laugh. They coined the term spooky core after releasing that album, which I mean,
You say
it
don't
fit.
laugh, but you can't not.
It fit. It fit. Right, let me come in with one which. Is it? Do I want to do this one? Yeah, I want to do this one because I think this is going to get a debate between me and Dave.
Here we go.
Which I don't know if this is their first album. So if it's not, shoot me down pretty quick. So get the Google machine ready.
Google machine.
Carnival and Themata.
Oh!
Ooh. Yep. Yeah, I almost put this on my list.
I almost
I
had it on
prefer
mine
it
as
over
well.
I prefer it over. Is it Cinderwake's their second album?
Sound Awake, yeah.
Yeah, I prefer it over Cinderwake. And
go back
weirdly,
and forth.
Cinderwake is the one that you used to push to me a lot, and I was like, I don't know, it doesn't connect with me. And over time,
Yeah.
the more I've listened to that one, the more it grows. But for me, Themata, from the very first listen, I was like, this is fucking incredible. So, I don't know if it's the first album though.
I think it is. I think Themata was their first album.
Then
Pretty sure it
Themata
was.
is the one I'm going with by Carnival.
Yeah. It's funny though, like I loved both albums. I could go back and forth between the two of them. And Sound Awake was my favourite for a long time, but then Themata disappeared from like digital streaming and stuff, so I hadn't heard it in
right.
so long. And when they finally put it back on, I was reminded of how awesome that album is.
The vocal melodies on it are
Yeah.
fuck it, like it is another one where he hits certain notes and the hairs on the back of my neck go up. Is that?
Yeah.
And it's just that it's a really weird. Like they're a band that got hit. Like most bands go the other way. They released the heavy album first and then go, like more like, especially when they sound like that, go more melodic and maybe start experimenting. They're a band that's went the other way. Like every release since Themata has got progressively heavier. And yeah, we saw them live as well. We interviewed them and saw them live, and they were fucking amazing live.
Yep.
But yeah, that Themata, like front to back's another album. There's not a bad song on it. There's no filler. It's incredibly well written. The vocals are awesome. Production is great. I think it was maybe one of the first bands from Australia, that side of the world, that got me, especially through doing the rock and roll stuff, kind of just a little bit later on, where I was like, this country here has got like per like head of population has some fucking incredible metal bands, and that's
Australian
continued,
metal
like,
is insane. It's so good.
so good.
Yeah.
Like, and they're still doing it. Like we got the opportunity to obviously listen to Alpha Wolf last year, and Alpha Wolf are a stark reminder
they're
that
Australian?
they're still,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, they're Australian. There's still really interesting stuff coming out from there. And the other one that we talked about, what was it? Of Cleopatra's tit. What was it called? What was the prog band called again?
Caligula's Horse.
That's the one, Cleopatra's tit. Right. They're Australian as well, and if you want to listen to a fucking really cool modern prog album, that's and the vocals on that as well. They seem to breed really good singers, really good singers. So yeah,
that dude
that's
from
my
Alpha
one.
Wolf.
Like that dude from Alpha Wolf. So yeah, I thought I was going to get a bit of kickback from Dave. Dave has done a cold chamber, like I just did with Dave, and yeah, there we go. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Both very good albums. It's tough. It's a tough one.
That's tough.
Kyle?
Yeah, I got another one.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to piss anybody off. I know one of you is going to agree with me because we've spoken about it before. And I think they've had 4 or 5 albums. They've just released 2 songs that were fucking horrible. But the first album, which came out in, what was it? It was 90 something. System of Down's first album.
Oh.
You get no disagreements from either one of
Exactly,
us here.
yeah, I think so.
Yep.
But I just don't know about the people in chat. Somebody might say something. I've known in my
Toxicity
life.
is not better than their self-titled.
Fuck no,
hands down.
not even close.
No.
I know some people
No.
in my life in the past I've had this discussion before.
I know some people that were in my life in the past
yeah.
that aren't anymore because of this conversation.
Toxicity is not even close to as good an album as the self-titled. It's more commercial, it's more radio friendly, it's more polished, but the first album was so much more System of a Down. It had so much more personality, and it's like
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
exactly. And it's like, and the one that came after, what was it? Steal This Album. That was a bit better.
Shite.
Bit better. Well, yeah, still shit, but. And then
It was quirkier. That's
Yeah,
the problem.
that's the thing,
Like,
it was quirky.
Toxicity is not a quirky album.
It's just got,
I
no,
mean,
it's got its heavy bits, which I really love. I'm not saying I don't like the album. I love the album. It's got super. The first like when it starts, it's like okay, we're in,
Yeah.
and I like it, and it's great. But I mean, it's just the first album. It's just the better one. Metal peaked
So
in
many
2002.
weird
Can we all
moments in
agree?
it.
I haven't released my masterpiece yet, Discordia. Can we wait? So, but then those other
Toxicity.
two. What was it? Hypnotize, terrorize, some other
fuck
bullshit.
them both.
Mesmerise.
Fuck them
Fuck
both.
it. When they
Toxicity's
started,
Toxicity's a good album.
It is.
It's
Yeah,
just.
that's a good
It's
album.
just. It's all. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun,
that's
dun,
it.
dun, 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 dun,
And then some
dun,
real
dun, dun,
pretty
dun, like,
simple
all the way
guitar
through it.
lines,
It's
yeah.
just. And fucking like that wee annoying bastard
oh
on guitar.
Jesus Christ! Can they make him
Singing.
stop fucking singing? I hate his voice and I hate his other bands, and nobody else
Yeah.
gives a fucking shit about them. Like, how many bands has he
didn't
been in
sing
now?
a lot on the other one, which was like their self-titled. They didn't sing a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why
That's
that
why
album
it's so
works
good.
well.
Fuck me.
That's
If
why
I-
it works
if
well.
I
He
could-
plays guitar.
If I met the band, I'd be like, "You guys are great. You're one of my favorites. Make him stop fucking singing, because oh my god, he's got these nasally voices. Like, just stop it.
It's just-
oh my god. Just stop. Just you can play guitar and you're good at it. Do that thing. Stand on your fucking rug and shut the fuck up. Just leave.
That's the name of their autobiography. Stand on the fucking rug and shut the fuck up. A System of a Down story.
He did get greedy. I don't know what it was. It's just like he's like, I want to sing too, and Serge is, I don't know, maybe Serge is a pushover, but it's just like
I
he's
think
like,
he,
yeah,
I think
okay.
he seems like he appears to be a guy who capitulates really easy.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think Darren's maybe because the thing about it, there was so much buzz. I think people forget
Right,
even
lawyer.
before Toxicity came out, right? There was so much buzz about System of a Down.
Right.
Like they were already being
They
touted
were
as the
everywhere.
next big thing.
Yeah.
The album went to #1 in the UK. Toxicity.
Straight away.
The
I-
week
I
after
bought it-
Iowa went to #1 in the
Right.
UK.
I
It was
bought
two
it the day it came
back-to-back
out.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, both of those albums I bought the day it came out, and I was so excited. And Iowa blew my mind, and Toxicity came. I was like, well, it's all right.
It's like the week after. I'm sure it was like a week or 2 weeks after. It was nuts. And it was like that's all anyone was talking about. And there was so much buzz about them. They were going to be the next big thing. I think that's maybe where the issues start coming up. Is that they were talking about how great the guitar, even the guitar work, is not as interesting on Toxicity
It's not
as it
even
is
close.
on their self.
Me and the band with Chris, we did a cover of Aerials. No, me and Chris did a cover of Aerials once, and I was playing it, and I was like, all right, fine, it's in C standard, the tuning, but it's like, it's the most boring. No, it's in drop C. Sorry, it's in the most boring fucking song I've ever played in my life. It's like that's it. That's the song. And then we covered what was that other song we did? One of the ones off the first album, anyway, and it was so much more fun to play.
Sugar. It's
Yeah,
everyone covers Sugar.
Yeah, well, we
If
we
you've not
didn't do
covered
that.
Sugar,
That's
you've
because-
never been in a band.
No. Did we cover Sugar? Was it Sugar?
Everyone's
Oh no,
covered
I think
Sugar.
it was.
If you-
I actually think it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, and that was so much more fun to play and so much more interesting to listen to as well. It's got crazy, they
will
bring
fight
their
the
own
heathens.
Armenian culture
Nice.
into the music, and it works super
Yeah.
well. And they didn't really do that as much on Toxicity, and it's just like, yeah, fucked it.
Yeah.
Everything is Darren's fault. I agree. We will fight the heathens. Yeah, come on, that's great.
Yeah.
What are bands? Things you put in your hair to keep it up. So System of a Down. There you go. Their first album. They
good one.
peaked. They were the best. They may be commercially successful afterwards, but they never reached that peak of the first album. Thank you very much for the host, Brutalizer.
Do we have another one to go? I can't remember what number we're on now.
I have no idea. I'll just keep going to run out.
I have a list of things that look like. So yeah, I'm happy to do like honourable mentions if we're running out, because I've got a few honourable.
I'm gonna mention one, Kyle, and I'm sorry I need to do this, but
shit!
it has to be said. Sixth.
Oh, I'm on the
on their
fence
debut.
about that.
No, I'm
Because
amazing
they're-
on
Are
this one.
Dead and Dried Out. Wait for Something Wild.
the
Was their best album.
Best album.
No, it wasn't. Pussyfoot was the best song by far, I think, or maybe the
Yeah.
better opener. But it goes like so. They start so hard and so crazy, and then the trees are dead and died out, dried out. Fuck me, I can't. This. Don't drink and podcast, people. Oh, I don't know, because it starts off and it's like this, and then it sort of mellows out for like so much of the album, and then it gets a bit more crazy towards the end. And like,
Think of the bangers though. Scent of the Obscene, Pussyfoot, Hold My Finger.
yeah,
like,
I
come
know.
on.
I agree,
but even
and
at the end,
that's why I'm on the
is it-
fence, because I thought
need to
about
find
this
the name
and
of
I
the
listened to
songs.
both the albums, and I'm like, my favorite album from them is the second one, Death of a Dead Day. It's it starts great. Bland Street Bloom is amazing opener.
It's a good song.
Flogging the horses. Summer Rain, that one, the bass on that, you got to listen to that. It's
What are we on
fucking
about here?
insane.
Wait, listen. Whoa.
I knew I was going to be in a minority in one
Here
of
it
these
comes.
fucking things.
Hold the bus, right? What's it?
Hold
Scent
the
of
bus.
Scene, banger. Pussyfoot, banger.
Yep.
Hold My Finger,
Yep.
banger.
Yep.
Skies of a Millennium Night,
Yep.
banger. Right? Emerson Part 1's an instrumental, throw it
Yep.
away. Peep Show, fucking banger.
Yep.
Wait for Something Wild, Tupelo, banger.
Yep.
Can't We All Dream,
Yep.
Emerson Part 2, right? How May I Help You,
Yep.
fucking banger, right? If You Weren't So Perfect, banger.
Yep.
Such a Fool, banger.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And then, When Will the Forest Speak? When I was crying out so weak.
I agree, but I'm friends with their guitarist, Pin, and we spoke about this years ago, and he said, I agree with you,
Did he
Kyle.
say the first album wasn't an album, it was a demo?
He did, yeah. No. He said, song for song, he prefers the first album. As an album itself, he prefers the second album. And I'm like, yes! I'm the exact same way. I prefer... The flow of the second album works so much better. Song for song, it might not be better, but for me, when I listen to it as an album, all the songs flow together great. They all come together perfectly. The last song on Death of a Dead Day has a fade out, and it's the only one I like. It's the only one I will ever give that is a fade out
I'll
that
tell you
works.
right now, Death of a Dead Day is an album I've listened to exactly 3 times.
You need to get into it because it's
And
fucking
I'll tell you
incredible.
right now, I've listened to it.
Cue it
listened
up.
to it when it first
Is-
came out, and I was like, and then I listened to it when they came back with that EP like a decade later.
Well,
And I was
Opacity.
like, maybe
That
I
was
can
great.
go back and listen to this now.
Yeah.
And then when they released that album, like a couple of years ago, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this another shot. And I think it's an alright album. I think the first album is amazing.
When they came out with that first album in, what was it, 2000, 99? I don't know. I don't remember.
2002?
One, two,
I think
yeah.
it's their first album.
I was in college when I first
2002.
heard it, so it was around then. But yeah, and I was like, this is amazing. And I listened to it non-stop,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get enough of it. And then the second one came out, and I don't know what it is about it, but I just love the way the whole album just comes together. All the way through. It's got no weird lulls. Like you said, Emerson Part 1 and 2 is like you throw them away. You can't throw anything away on Death of a Dead Death of a Dead Day. Just can't.
I think
And when
I
the
think that
guitarist
album
of the band fucking agrees with me, it's got nothing to do with our friendship.
Yeah,
Maybe
but-
he was just
but I-
playing me on.
Yeah, James Hetfield says the Lulu album's a fucking great album. That is a great album. It's
Yeah,
right.
but James Hetfield has been in and out of rehab about 1 billion times, so you can't believe anything what the fuck he says. Old fucking
listen,
grandpa man. Shut up,
he
James.
never gets respect. That's why we're St. Anger. and
He's the
Neednet.
fucking table, remember?
I think that first album was just so
Lightning
quirky.
in a bottle, Dave. Lightning in a bottle.
I
Like
agree.
the first time I heard it,
Yeah.
really, it was mind blowing. Like they had this full like staccato and disjointed rhythms.
No
and you
one
had this-
sounded like that.
Exactly. You had this back and forth between
Yeah.
Mikey and
Justin.
Justin.
Yeah.
And it was just like something that you hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
thought the second album, I thought musically they probably sounded more mature, more accomplished, but I didn't find it as captivating as that first album. Still had a few standouts on it, but no, I'd still go with their debut.
To each their own.
This is the first album that we're actively disagreeing on. So, and it's taken us to get to the end of the list.
Well, that's why it wasn't on my list, because I was like, I love what the fuck is
Paul,
name?
how have you never listened to Sixth?
How? What is wrong?
Go on. Listen, I'll tell you what. Skip the next Wild Hearts album and listen to a fucking Sixth album. Jesus Christ. Listen to fucking the Guitarist side project, the fucking live album and all that. Go and just put a pin in that and listen to Sixth.
And that is true of their Guitarist other album with other band, Aliases. Their first released, fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Second one, kind of forgettable.
You could have put that. You could have 100% put that on the list. By
and
the
we
way.
all would have agreed, because Aliases are great.
First album is
all of the
amazing.
members are really accomplished, but then they lost their singer. They got another one, and they dropped him because of some issues. They got another one. What's his name? Robert. I think it's Ross. I don't remember. And
put out
probably
new
fucking
album coming out September.
But Wild Hearts or Sixth, because one of them you should be listening to, and the other one you should put in the bin.
Be Wild Hearts. Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah.
Oh no, Starry-Eyed Tiger, you need to get Sixth on. Sixth are legitimately, listen, like all the bands that you hear now, and I know it's going to sound, it's the you know when people got that, what do you mean you don't like Iron Maiden? Every metal band's influenced. Get that to fuck, right? Yeah. No, a modern metal band is not influenced by Iron Maiden. See, every band that is doing all that really fast, kind of weird, staccato-y,
they were one of the first. They like invented it.
They were the band,
and
they were a whole decade and a half before that shit started.
Ahead of their
time they are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They really were. There's
oh,
nothing like
so
that.
Fucking good.
Well, I mean, you could say the same. Like they were kind of like Dillinger and stuff. They had that sort of, but it wasn't the same. And the two singers.
It was like Dillinger. I think the difference is like Dillinger. Like if you think about that time, you're talking Calculating Infinity time, right? Calculating Infinity is an album which is just front to back punishment.
Yeah, it is
that album.
Fucking
it is
angry.
So fucking angry.
Yeah.
And Sixth are never that way, and that's what I loved about them. Sixth are actually, in all their songs, at any point, I wouldn't ever say that first album is an angry album.
No. It's got a weird
It's weird.
beauty
They sing about
it,
the weirdest fucking shit. It's all poetry.
Yeah.
It's poetry. The weaver, and I think it's all about textures and like the stuff they do is fucking. And honestly, the first time I heard it, I genuinely thought this is what everyone is going to sound like. And then it's like a horror analogy.
It took 10 years for them to figure out how the fuck to do it, didn't it?
The first time I saw the Blair Witch Project, right, I was like that. Everyone is going to be doing found footage, and then no one touched it for a decade until Paranormal Activity came out, and then it became huge. And I was always like, no, this was like, it's exactly the same way. It's like it took a decade for people to work out how that was done, and then, oh my god,
Listen, I'm not going to disown anybody, right? If you don't like what I don't like, what I do like, then that's fine. I'm just going to make fun of it.
You're a total wedding singer, Adam Sandler moment. Well, I have the microphone and you don't, so you will sit and listen to everything I gotta say. Right, so...
But Sanguine Seas of Bigotry on that second album. It's one of the best songs they ever did.
I will listen to it again.
Please
but
do.
I get a feeling that we were going to, next time we speak, I'll be like, I just get a feeling.
My inner rage will jump out and Lisa will be proud of me.
Let me throw a couple that I know for a fact none of us have in our lists, but it's good to get them out the way as honourable mentions. The one that I remembered right at the start, where I was like that, that'd be a good one to put down. Airborne with their first album. Airborne.
I had that on my backup list. Yeah, I completely agree.
Which, I mean, that's a great, like, diamond. You can't get enough of that. That's fucking great album. That's another one that has wall-to-wall bangers. Yeah, granted, they sound just like AC/DC.
Right.
But every album after that, not good. And then their drummer was a dick to me and Dave, and that will put you on Duncan's shit list for life. I've never listened to them since he was a dick to us. He wasn't even really a dick. He didn't want to be in the interview and answer them one-word answers, which made for the most fucking boring interview we've ever done. So, fuck him. It's Airborne.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em.
I'd also add Blackstone Cherry to that list.
Yep.
I would agree with that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
First
That
album.
first album's.
Yep.
Here
Stunning.
comes the rain wizard. Oh, hello.
I got an honourable mention from
Well,
me.
Watch just tried to. It said the first album is Who. Sorry, I can only take that request while you're listening to music or a podcast. Thanks, Watch.
Thank you very much, Watch.
Anyone else got like any other like very quick ones we can drop in? Because I've got more.
Sonata Arctica. Their first album was front to back fan-fucking-tastic, and ever since then they've been like,
Some bands do that. Dude.
yeah,
They're just like,
they've been good, but they're not been. Thanks, Raven, for gifting us up to Zodi. Thank you very much. That's much better than Sonata Arctica's latest album.
Davey, you got any other quick takes? Before we get into another, I've got another one or two meaty ones, but
Meaty one.
quick takes. Come on, Dave, just drop
One
the bombs.
Again, this
See what
this
happens.
might annoy Kyle, but Static X, Wisconsin Death Trip.
You know,
Not that much.
I went through this. I spent this whole week listening to albums, and I went through it, and I'm like, okay, Static X, Wisconsin Death Trip, fucking incredible album.
Yeah.
Loved it. I can't not love it. It's amazing. But, and this is a personal thing, I just prefer Machine, and I don't know why. Just prefer it. And I can't tell you why. All the songs are just as good as each other, and I'm just like, it's literally, I just can't decide which one's better. But I prefer Machine just a bit, and I don't know why. I think it's just got more of a. It's got
I'm
more of a.
Wisconsin Death Trip.
I know you do, and I'm like, I can't say one is better than the other. I
hear what
just
you're
prefer this one.
Yeah, I'm not, it's personal preference.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
That's
This is
all
a
that
personal
bounce-
preference podcast.
Exactly.
It's just a Wisconsin was just a more memorable album for me. There's so many.
I'll give you that.
Big bangers
I
on that.
absolutely will give you that. It really.
I love big bangers. What
Yeah.
can I say?
Yeah. It has the lyrics, your shit's like chocolate cake and your ass smells like a rose.
Right.
I mean, you're on, like, that is, speaking about one man eating a woman's shit, and that will put you in Duncan's good graces forever.
Yep. There you
Right. How about Skindred in Babylon?
Oh, there you go.
It's a perfect album for me.
I'm on the
Like, all their
fence.
other albums have tracks that I don't gravitate to, and Babylon has all them great songs.
Well, they had a
I
single
really
out
like
on that
Kill the
album,
Power.
didn't they? And it was played everywhere, and it was great. And then you just never heard from them again. That was it.
I like Kill the Power or
Kill the
Da
Power's
Power.
great, but Kill the Power's got a couple of.
It's a wee bit more commercial than their early stuff, but it's a good album. They've had a lot of albums though. Babylon. Let me look at the track list.
Babylon's just got all the songs,
Pressure.
man. Honestly, Selector,
Yeah.
Pressure, Bruises, like all just fucking great songs that still are, like, to me, they're best. And that's not to, I don't think they're a band that have released a bad album. I think they always have, like, half their albums are really great and then the rest of them are okay. But yeah, that first album to me.
First
And it just
album is
depends
good.
which version you got, because I think it was released about 7 times. We saw them. I don't know if you were at that. Were you at the
Just like Slipknot's debut album. I've got 6 fucking copies of that thing. All of them different.
Were you at the? Wasn't Tattoo the Planet, or was it? Was it Tattoo the Planet when it finally played? And Slayer were there, and Cradle of Filth, and a Vision of Disorder, and were you not at that? The SECC, and Skindred were the opening band.
Have a good
And,
luck, Discordia. Thanks for stopping on in.
Bye. But like they were the first band. They were the first band on, and I think like they were I thought they were great live, but the bands after them were Vision of Disorder. This is Skindred opened, then it was Vision of Disorder, Cradle of Filth,
Holy fuck.
right? There was another band and then Slayer headlined, and it was just like, this is like, it was not their night. But they were doing that stuff then, and I think the album still hadn't been properly released yet, and they were playing on that. He was still pressing little samples on a thing like I had on stage. So yeah, I don't think I think they've done great albums since. I just don't think, I can't remember who the other bands were. There was another. Was it In Flames?
I saw In
It
Flames
might
at
be
the
In
SEC
Flames.
with Slayer, but that was a different tour, I think.
I can't remember. I'm gonna while you guys are chatting, I'm gonna find out. But there's a.
The Devil Horn says Skindred are not as good as Dub War. Really?
I think you had like a weird experience where you only can listen to bands that formed at that time, like bands that toured with the Wild Hearts.
Listen, Raven, I don't know how many times I need to say this, Raven. You can like what you like. I'm not going to hate you because you like In Flames and Disturbed. I'm just going to make fun of them. That's it. I saw In Flames. In Flames were not bad. Nowadays, they're like, I could fucking not care less.
Okay.
But I saw them.
Remain is a fucking banging album.
It's a banger.
Tell you what,
Banger album.
agree with that.
So,
I saw them open for Slipknot, but support Slipknot in 2001. And I was like, this is incredible. That's the first time I ever heard of In Flames. And I bought their album after that. And I followed them for years. And they released an album. And I was like, no, that's not so good. And then I fell off. But after that, it's like, yeah, fine. Avenged Sevenfold can suck a fuck because they're crap. But anybody that likes Avenged Sevenfold can like them as much as they want. But they just have to know that they suck a fuck.
Right, here we go. Right, so it was the Tattoo of the Planet. I knew I wasn't wrong. But this was the whole thing where 9/11 happened, and then Pantera didn't do the tour.
Right.
So according to Blabbermouth, from their archives, September 17, 2001. So this is 8 days. So no, 6 days after. 6 days after 9/11. Slayer will reportedly carry on their planned appearances and revised dates on the upcoming European Tattoo the Planet tour following Pantera and Static X decision to pull out. So they were both on that tour as well.
Sure.
According to reports, Slayer will head to Europe early next week to belatedly kick off their tour on Tuesday. Let's see. Biohazard were on the tour. So it was Biohazard, Vision of Disorder, Cradle of Filth, and Skindred.
Jesus, that's a hell of a lineup.
Cool.
So it was but the original lineup was supposed to be Slayer, Pantera, Static X. Don't think Cradle of Filth were on it. I was the only time I've ever seen Cradle of Filth live, and I pissed myself laughing. Danny Filth got booed hard because he came out on stage. He's like, what was it he said? He goes, I hear Pantera's not playing at this gig, and I think that's very rude. I think we should say, fuck you, Pantera. And everyone was like, boo! Know your audience, Danny Filth. Fucking people wearing Slayer t-shirts. Don't fucking fuck them off. Yeah, insane, man. Right, so Skindred. Controversial one here, or maybe
Chris
not.
is like, my band's cover of Avenged Sevenfold was better. And I agree with Chris. I got one, and I know I mentioned it when we were planning this, and I didn't mention it in any of my lists, but 1 Minute Silence.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
Yep.
First album, best album, third album,
Available
piece of
in
shit.
all colours.
Right?
That's what it says in the album.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a great album.
Yeah, the follow-ups were...
Not great. I mean, the second one was alright, and the third one was just a piece of shit. I couldn't...
Yeah.
Is that the one? That's the last one I reviewed for that band. I was
It was
like,
the last album. They did an EP after it. But
Who
it was the
gives
last
a
album.
shit, you know?
Even at the time, our little buddy Graham Humphrey, who reviewed, he reviewed that album, and he was the most excited for it, and he just didn't like it. That last album, which shows that it wasn't very good. Their first album is another one which is just, it didn't sound like anything else around.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I saw them on that tour in the Cat House. Amazing gig. Absolutely
I
amazing
saw
gig.
them 7 times in one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw them on the
everyone.
same show I saw Slipknot and In Flames. They had Slipknot, American Hard, In Flames, and 1 Minute Silence.
1 Minute
And I was
Silence,
like,
yeah.
fuck, this is a great lineup. And I enjoyed 1 Minute Silence then, and then their album came out after that, and I was like, yeah, well, whatever. Murder, whatever. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. This one, I don't know how committed I am to this. I'm gonna say it, but I really like the album that comes 2 albums after this. But I'm gonna say Clawfinger, Deaf, Dumb and Blind.
Yeah, I know.
The album that comes 2 after this is like the one that kind of has like Hold Your Head Up and stuff. Is a fucking great album, but it has a couple of not great songs in it. Whereas I think Deaf, Dumb and Blind has my only problem with Deaf, Dumb and Blind is they have that song which is that's called The N Bomb. as in the word, and he uses it a lot in that track, and that, through the optics of 2021, does not age very well. No, especially when it's coming from a white man who lives in Sweden. So, singing about the ghetto and oppression and slavery doesn't work. So yeah, for that first album, oh man, The Truth, maybe one of my favorite. Just fucking slides everywhere and just like minted, absolutely minted. And Warfare, which I think was maybe one of the first videos I ever saw from them on Super Rock, which is the one that sounds just like sounded so much like Faith No More, it was unbelievable. So yeah, so I would go Clawfinger. Another one that I'll get out of the way really quickly. I can't imagine Kyle's ever listened to these guys. 4 Years Strong, Rise or Die Trying.
Never fucking heard of them.
Ooh.
I'm taking a vodka break.
I think it's their best. Not their heaviest, but I think it's their best.
Yeah. Could be. Could be. I need to go back and listen. It's not a band I listen to all that much, but
yeah.
I need to check that. I need to check them out again. But yeah, it was a good album. What
Right,
about
go for it.
What about Nemec?
Ooh, Nemec's. Yeah, no. I listened to them all recently, and as much as I want to see
Paul's like, who? And I'm like, yeah, who?
Nemec.
What? Nemec?
Yeah. Hello?
Dude, me and you
Kyle,
need to
what
sit
the
down
fuck,
and
man?
we need to. There's a point where I need to cuddle you and just
Jesus,
get you.
Kyle.
There was these are all the bands that we listened to when we were in our band way back in the day.
Listen to Nemec and their first album, Mechanical.
N for Norman, Nememic, but it's pronounced I can't even say it now. N-M-E-N-I-C. Is that right? Nemec.
Yeah.
And their first album is it
Mechanical
no,
Spin Phenomena.
Yeah. Mechanical Spin Phenomena. It's a bright red cover.
Amazing.
That's added
They
to
were
my
out on
list.
Nuclear Blast, and they're another band. They kind of sounded like they took the whole triple picking thing that Fear Factory did, but just did it like a whole lot better. And they were Danish.
Yep.
They were a Danish band, and they were fucking incredible. And they went
that
through
album
lineup
was
changes.
phenomenal.
Vodka
they had that
Milo.
one.
Alright, I'm gonna try it.
The second album
At 100 subscribers.
has maybe my favourite Nemec songs on it. The second one, which was
Audio Injected Soul.
Yeah, Audio Injected Soul has my favourite songs, but once again, there's a couple of songs in that one that are not good, including a very dodgy cover of Wild Boys by
Wild
Duran
Boys,
Duran,
yeah.
which does not work. Does not work
Yeah.
at all.
First
But
album.
Nemec is, oh dude, you'll love Nemec. It's
Yeah.
fucking
Sounds like a
double
will, yeah.
cross.
I think it was the first one done by Chew Madsen. Did he not produce the first album?
Yeah, I think he did the first.
Oh, is
two,
it
I
a
think.
Chew one? Oh,
It's a
yeah, if it's
Chew album.
Danish, then yeah, of course it is. Then yeah, no, I'll probably
It's
love it,
a-
yeah.
Yeah.
It is a Chew album.
Old Chew.
It's very chewy sounding.
Fucking hell, Duncan. That was on the line, even for you.
That's a good one, right? Do you want? Will we kick a controversial one, or maybe not?
Yeah, do it. I like controversy.
Incubus, Science.
Oh, no.
See,
Now
I was
we're
going to
talking.
put that one on my list too, but then I thought,
So the best albums either Science or Make Yourself.
Yeah,
And
I'd agree.
I was sitting, I've been debating this.
Yeah.
And Make Yourself is a very samey sounding album, but Science
Chocolate Starfish is
a
not
very-
Limp Bizkit's first album.
It's not. It's $3
Not
bills, y'all.
quite. And
But so yeah,
and tell you what, $3 Bill is a better album.
it's a better album.
Yeah.
It might be. I
He
don't
might
know if
just
that's
be
the
asking
best
about
album though.
the Chocolate Starfish. I don't know if he's referring to Limp Bizkit.
You'll have to talk
Oh
to
yeah,
your wife
that's a good
about that,
point.
Chris.
That's a good point. So yeah, here's the thing. Here's my here's how to contextualize it. Make Yourself is a very commercial sounding album that is all of one type, right?
Yeah.
Science is a very non-commercial album, but once again, it's still of all one type.
Yeah.
So is he funk, rock or funk, whatever one, funk rock album, and the second one is he kind of alternative rock album. Both of them
Yeah.
are great fucking albums front to back, but I don't know. I
think-
don't know.
As much as I love Science, I think Make Yourself might be the stronger album overall.
What? Why do you say what? I got 100 bits for what? Rainbow is Rainbow. Sorry, Raven is Rainbow.
See, Wikipedia is stating that Fungus Among Us is their first album, but was that an album? I thought it was an EP.
I thought it was an EP. I might be wrong. I want it as well.
I'm a
The
fucking
Japanese
rainbow.
import.
Raven is a rainbow. Raven is a rainbow. That's it. Your new name is Rainbow.
Wikipedia says it's a debut studio album.
Is it?
So it says.
Well, that kills that argument then. That's
Fuck
us.
it then.
We don't even need to worry about it. We don't even need to entertain this conversation.
No,
right
we do
then,
not.
let's hit it with the one that we're all likely to agree on. Machine Head. Burn My Eyes.
Burn My Eyes.
No.
Ooh.
No. I had that
If
on
you
my
say
list
the
for a little while.
blackening, this is going to get called off. The
If I say the
Blackening is a
blackening.
boring fucking album.
If I said the blackening, you'd be right to do so. But come on.
It's a boring.
It's
the one
between
that
the first
everyone
two.
fucking-
It's between the first two, surely.
The Locust.
What?
Oh no! Get
Yeah.
yourself
The
the fuck.
what?
Yeah, that album is a fucking masterpiece, front
The
to back.
Locust.
Maybe it's because it's fresher and newer, and maybe it's because I hadn't listened to Machine Head in a while.
Dave still didn't know what. Dave's like,
What? Was it called The Locust? It had Locust in the title.
yeah, no, the Locust is
Okay.
yeah.
That album, I still listen to it. I listen to it more than Burn My Eyes, even though Burn My Eyes was my introduction to metal and the best first album I ever listened to. But to say that that album is better than The Locust has got so much going on. The tonal screaming, the screaming harmonics, hello, they didn't have that on...
They don't need
But,
it.
wait, they didn't.
Chris
Locust.
Contos on the drums.
Chris
Rob Flynn
Well-
not trying to sing. Block in itself being just one of the heaviest
Locust
fucking songs
is
I've ever written.
Dull. Burn My Eyes was a game changer, I'll give you that. The Blackening is not the best.
I'd
The
go as far
blackening
to say
is
is
the blackening is like no matter how many publications try and tell you that's a good it is a boring album. That is desperately needing a producer to sit down and say, why is this song 8 minutes long?
But it's no
it's so
supercharger.
I'd put The More Things Change above The Blackening and Locust.
Really?
Yeah,
Man, I
personally.
loved Locust. I think that
I'm a
is...
madman.
I don't know what it is about that
nut
album,
job.
but I felt they really did something like that was... It wasn't quite so thrash, but then after that they came out with, what was it, Kings and Diamonds or Killers and... I can't remember. I don't remember the goddamn name of the album, but it was not as good as Locust. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like they hit something special with Locust, and I don't know what it is, but I've loved it ever since the day it came out. And I will put it above all of the others. Absolutely. Even
all
though I'm
three
one of
of
the
us are
biggest
coming in
Machine
with
Head
different
fans on the
albums.
planet, I just really got along with Locust.
Really,
I was riding it
it's
into
the
the
sort
sunset,
of date
clearly.
that I would call back after a week.
Yeah, a week. I'd give it 17 minutes.
Don't
I have
be
the
needy,
special
Kyle.
edition
keen,
up
too
there.
keen.
I'm looking at it, and it's staring me in the face on my shelf. It's not just hanging in midair because I'm,
Oh,
It's just, yeah, it's threatening me with a gun like you fucking say I'm the best album.
I don't know.
I love Burn My Eyes, don't get me wrong, I really do. You know I do. It's my origin
album.
story of metal. But the Locust, I don't know, I just get along with it really. Maybe it's because I've changed. Maybe because Machine Head changed and we changed at the same time and it
You
just
have
worked.
changed.
And we hardly know each other anymore, I don't know.
Okay, here's one for you. This will really test you here, Duncan in particular.
All right, go for it.
Glassjaw. Everything you
I've got
want to know
Glassjaw on
about
my list.
Silence.
Siberian Kiss. Yep. I've got it on my
That-
list, so
I mean, I love Worship and Tribute. I think there's some really good
Yep.
tracks, but for me, everything you want to know about Silence is
Yep.
the pinnacle. It is their best album.
right. Paul's asking, can I say "Burn My Eyes" dominates all Machine Head albums? Paul, that is literally what I said.
Yep.
The words that came out of
That's
his
like-
mouth.
We agree.
That's why I said it was their best one. No, like Siberian Kiss, I'm with you. Worship and Tribute is, to me, Worship and Tribute is it's a more interesting album. I think they get far more experimental with it, but there's something specifically about Siberian Kiss that's an album. Like, see, when I talk about textures in an album, like like songs being placed in a particular order to take you through like a journey. That's that album. That's the album I would lean back to, because there are so many viscerally fucking angry moments in that album that are followed by huge stretches of, you know, almost kind of weird, kind of meandering sort of like experimental ballady stuff that they do. And it was all but, I mean, they were doing that before every band wanted to have a singer that sounded like Daryl Palumbo. You know, like all before they were doing they were technically emo before emo, although it was classed as screamo. It was emo. It was emo before emo, and then every band wanted to, and it was off that album. And I think they're another example of a band that released that album, saw everyone start to go that way, and then went a hard turn to not sound like that again. They've just released an EP called Colouring Book, which just came out. We were talking about it. The reason we'd never heard of it before is that it was an EP they released in advance of the Green EP, free. So basically, they'd recorded it and released it on their tour. So it had never been released digitally, and it's been released digitally now. It is, I listened to it 2 nights ago.
Right.
It is a deliberately abrasive sounding thing. It's a good listen, because some of the melodies work really well, but there are whole sections where I don't even know if there's a guitar on the song. And like, from when we saw them live, which we didn't like them live, that second time. First time, one of the best bands I've seen live.
Amazing.
They were fucking incredible. Played with Soulfly.
Yeah.
Soulfly were touring
Earth-Tone 9,
Primitive
Earth-Tone
Tour,
9, I think.
and Earth-Tone 9 were touring Art Tangent, and although I don't know if that's the name of the album, but that's no, it was Art Tangent
so,
because that's the name of the album, and they were the second band on, and they were fucking mind blowing. They were like Anarchy on stage, and they sounded amazing. And the second time we saw them, it was just they were just. It felt like they were just having a weird fucking jam sesh on stage. It was weird. You listen to Colouring Book, I think they were playing songs off Colouring Book live, because there's a couple in there where I'm like, I know this song, and I was checking through like their albums and it's not on it, and I think they were playing that stuff live. It just is not the band. They changed so much from that. It was a decade in between us seeing them again. So a full decade. And they changed so much as a band. They didn't want to sound like that anymore. And I get it. Every other band started to sound like it. And we did get, would be a good shout again, we got his side project, which they put out 2 albums, and the first album was infinitely better than the second. What are they called?
Head Automatica.
Head Automatica.
Yeah.
Automatic heads.
Yeah, I totally I agree with that. Although I've been listening to a lot of Worship and Tribute. It's a really
It's a tough one. It is a tough one, but I think I'd still go with the debut overall. I think stronger album.
It's a good one. It's a good one. What about Soulfly?
Oh,
because it's between 2 albums.
Yeah.
It's the first and the second one. So it's either Primitive or it's self-titled. And I was thinking about this while we were just chatting there, and I mentioned Soulfly.
Yeah.
There's a couple of songs on Primitive that are just too out there for me. You know, like when he's like, I'll jam with Sean Lennon for no fucking reason why. But I think some of my favourite Soulfly songs are on that album.
Yeah.
But the better, like, that first album is so fucking raw. It's like it's maybe the rawest thing Max has ever done. It's so angry, and it's got some songs on it.
Yep.
He made Fred Durst sound angry.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Fred Durst sounds pissed off on Bleed. I'll make you bleed.
Yep.
So, what one, Dave? Come on.
Oh, I think overall I'd go with their debut.
Yeah.
There we go. There we are.
I think.
Paul's even agreeing with us. We have Voltroned up.
Metal Epidemic Voltron. We've come
What was there? Was another one came to mind there?
piss off your fan base.
What about now?
He's already doubting himself.
I don't know if this counts.
Himself,
I think it does count. I think it does count. The stuff they released before their debut was under a different name, so technically this still counts, but Drykill Logic, The Darker Side of Nonsense. I think
I really like that. I really like that second album. But see if that second album had the production of the first album, it'd be even better. The production and the guitars isn't as punchy.
I think Dead and Dreamin' is a little bit underrated, actually.
Never heard of Dry Kill Logic. What planet are you fucking living on?
Oh, Kearney.
Like, I may never have heard
Logic.
of Nemig, but they're an obscure Danish band from the middle of nowhere. But Dry Kill
Dry
Logic,
Kill Logic were going to be the big thing for a while, and they never really quite made it. Now another band that I saw live, I saw them play at Bannerman's, and they were
Fucking hell.
fucking amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
They're
like a
coming
tiny,
back,
tiny
though.
venue, and they were so
Coming back.
heavy.
They
I
released
know.
a
I
track
honestly
last year.
can't wait. I think we're the only people that interact with them on Twitter, which makes me
You
happy.
never listen to them, alright, fair enough.
Oh man,
Check out the first album. The Darker Side of Nonsense is amazing.
it's a really good album. Also links into our Spice Girls conversation from a month ago.
It does. It does, yeah.
So, but the second album too, they're another band that, in my opinion, have never released a bad album. But they sounded dramatically different on every album. That was the weird thing about
Yeah,
them.
they started to move like up further away from the kind of new metal sound. It almost became close to kind of metalcore, but the kind of last
It was
album
very
they released.
metalcore towards the end. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very metalcore towards the end. But his vocals, like the tonal aggressive stuff that he does,
Yeah.
oh man. And he has a really nice singing voice. He's got a really nice
does.
singing tone. So when
Yep.
usually their albums would close out with like a ballad of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
or like, I put them up against any band. But yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna lean more towards the production
Yeah.
on that first album. Although some of my favourite songs are on the second album, but the guitars just don't have punch. They're too tinny.
Yeah.
Sounding
Some of the melodies are actually better on the follow-up. But yeah, I think overall the first one.
That's a good,
It's a better
good
album.
call, Dave. Good call.
Yeah.
Do we have any more? I mentioned Orgy earlier on, so that one's off my list. We've mentioned Audio Slave.
Yeah. What about Periphery?
Oh, they were on my backup list. I completely agree. First album, much better than
First album
First
was
one
stunning.
with the Icarus
Yep.
thingy. Yeah, that's their best album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they did. There was so many like demos and little things that they released before that album came out, but it was just like all the best songs that they've been releasing like as singles and demos and stuff on that first album. It was superb.
was.
They've kind of evolved over the years and become a wee bit more kind of progressive, more proggy in places and a lot more kind of singing and stuff. But I don't know. I always go back to the
Another
first
band
one.
that have distanced themselves from what they originally sounded like because everyone started sounding like Periphery, so Periphery didn't want to sound like Periphery.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I think the first half of that first Periphery album in particular has, like, is flawless. It's absolutely flawless. So yeah, I've tried everything they've done since, and I appreciate musically. I appreciate it. I just get there's no. The hooks aren't there. There was the thing about that first album is it's hooky, it's catchy, and it's heavy as fuck. So, it's a good call, Dave.
Good call.
Good call.
Where to go next? Kitty.
Oh fuck, they're on my list too, and I was gonna say them. Definitely.
They're
Without
another
a doubt.
band that every album sounds totally like every album sounds like whatever's big at the time. So they went through their corn phase, then they went through
Electric
their
Kitty's like, what? Me? Not you.
and then they went through their we went through Lamb of God riffs. Which when we saw them, they were good live actually. They were really good live. I've seen them 3 times live.
I say thank you for the 21 months in a row. Christ, that's a long time to keep subscribing. It's almost 2 years. I haven't known you for longer than that. What's going on here? Huh? No, I'm kidding. Thank you very much. Duncan's fucked off.
Duncan is not fucked off.
Oh, he's just still there. Kitty, if you haven't,
Duncan had no
if you haven't heard of a band called Kitty, spelled Kittie, go hear them. They're amazing. The first album's amazing.
That first album.
Yeah.
First album. What was it? Can't remember. Was it self-titled? Must have been self-titled. And
yeah, I think it
Brackish
was.
on it.
Yeah, Brackish and
Brackish.
Spit. Oh, fuck.
And Spit. Spit,
good.
that's right.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the Spit, Brackish, Charlotte. was the other
Oh
thing.
yeah.
yeah, that's a great
Which
song.
oh man, and they did that Silverchair thing
Yeah.
when they were like
yeah.
dum dum, and they only ever did it on that one album.
I know.
Dum da 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 dum.
Yeah.
dum.
Oh, the album was called Spit, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to
That's
say
what I
that.
thought you like. You shouted Spit out, and I thought that's
Oh,
what
right.
you meant. It was yeah,
Yeah.
Spit. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's the
what
one.
else?
Spit from 2000. Don't.
It's
taste it.
it's
great.
It's cheesy. It's cheesy new metal. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I love
They're
it.
all
What
good.
about,
They're all 15 and 16 years old when they wrote
Yeah.
it. And that
Yeah.
was
True.
the.
It's still better than anything I'll ever write.
They're another band that, like, their dad, the drummer and the front woman guitarist, their
Morgan.
dad was a record producer.
Yeah.
So
Raven.
once again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, what about what, Dave? Bring it.
What about?
Um.
What about?
Oh.
Dave.
I think he was.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say
No,
something.
I'm waiting for you. I've got nothing left. That's it. You said Kitty and I was out. I'm out now.
Say it. Say it.
Down Nola.
Disagree.
I knew it. I knew it.
I love that. I think their second album is the better album.
Do you think?
I love that second. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I know on paper I am wrong, right? Like everyone will tell me I am wrong, but that second album to me, it's in the production. It just feels sweaty and grimy.
I didn't like this. I didn't like the production on that album.
Oh, I love the production. How can you? I hate God. We were just listening to it last week, and you were
I know,
like, "Oh,
I
listen
know.
to that fuzz and all the rest." That's literally what that album sounds like.
I know, but
It's
just
just
compared to
so-
Nola.
I love Nola. You know I love Nola.
Yeah.
But that second album is like down to. Oh man, New Orleans is a dying whore. Hey kid, she sleeps on the floor.
Oh, Kearney agrees with you, Duncan.
Right, which means I now distance myself from that comment. Nola is the best. I'm all John. All John Paul. All John.
Agnew Hawk,
about-
hello. Welcome back.
Black Sabbath.
Hashtag twinsies. So
Black Sabbath. I don't know.
You just can't. You can't do Black Sabbath because that first album was arguably
I like
one of
the
the most
first album.
ground.
I think the
Yeah.
first one is probably the best album.
yeah, and I kind of lose it after that. I know why people are hardcore into it, but that first one is just
Yeah.
so good, and then the rest is just.
It's like the peak of everything.
And I can't do Aussie solo stuff, so no one mentions
Yeah,
it.
it's true.
Uh,
I was talking to my band about this last night because I was having trouble with coming up with a few others, as well you may have heard from me earlier. But one of them said Led Zeppelin, and I was like, fuck.
I don't think I've ever listened to a whole Led Zeppelin album. I'll be honest with you. Like from front to back, I don't think I've ever listened to a whole Led Zeppelin album. I've listened to parts of Led Zeppelin albums. I don't think I've ever listened to.
Dio's
They're
first
not the
album,
sort of-
I'll give you.
They're not the sort of band I would listen to. Like I
I
appreciate
love
them
Led
musically,
Zeppelin.
but
I love them. I love their songs. I love the weird style and how it changes, but I just can't see how the first one was the best one. But Dio, I'll give you. I don't know why. I love Dio. Dio was my first concert, and I've loved Dio ever since. But Heaven and Hell, yep. Yep.
I did have more. I just didn't write.
Led Zeppelin, oh, get out. Led
I
Zeppelin.
mean, I'm not gonna disagree with Paul here. Paul's now starting to speak my language. I don't. It's not that I think they're over.
The thing is,
I
we're
appreciate
looking
them
at them
for
from the 2020s, right? When everything sounds a bit corny and a bit crap and all this stuff, right? But they came out with that music when nobody else was. And it's been
Yeah.
super influential, so you can't really say they're overrated
Yep.
because they're fucking And if you listen in detail to what they're doing in their songs, it's way more complex than what you think it is. Especially I watched the documentary for what's that goddamn song? Stairway to Heaven. Everybody's like, Stairway to Heaven, oh my fucking god. But if you watch the documentary,
No stairway denied.
right? And they go so in depth of all the different parts that are going on. It's like, actually, this is goddamn genius, you know. So it might take a few listens. You might have to be high as fuck to get it, but
How high?
as fuck.
High.
But man, Led Zeppelin are amazing, and their drummer blows me away still now. Like, especially from a production point of view, he's super tight and super groovy, and just blows me away. That band is great. My condolences, Devil Horns.
It wasn't the first time. Oh shit.
And everyone's thinking, like, oh, what can I think of next? What shall we do? Who shall we?
Well, I'm now
fucking
literally
piss
just
off now?
thinking of all the bands that I've seen live. And to be honest, none of them are going to be controversial enough for you guys to even give a fuck.
A
So.
band that's all live, not a metal band, but their first album was just fucking amazing. The Presidents of the United States of America.
I love them as well.
That
I don't
first
think I ever
album.
listened to anything more than the first album, though.
Oh, first album, so good. So good. The stuff they brought out after that, there was a couple of tracks that weren't bad, but nothing as good as that first album. Saw them live they did an anniversary tour for that album, so good.
Here we go. 30 Seconds to Mars.
There you go.
First album. Not the album that everyone knows.
No, I mean
The
no.
first album.
Peaches.
So
Oh,
they had
yeah.
So they have a self-titled album called 30 Seconds to Mars. It is a new metal album that came out 3 years before the album that had all the singles on it, and it is fucking brilliant. It doesn't sound anything like it. It's a bit more, dare I say, experimental. But they have as before they want to look all pretty and all the rest. And it's a really really fucking good album. Duncan recommends whilst you're here and listening. If you were going back to listen to said album, which I'm just going to check to see if it is available. It is available on the streaming sites. Tracks like Edge of the Earth, Oblivion, Buddha for Mary. That's a song. Echelon. Oh, listen, if you listen to one song by 30 Seconds to Mars off the back of what I'm saying, Echelon. And Year Zero. I love that album. I think it's a great album. And then they became super famous off the album with a kill and all that pish in it. And everyone was like, I love them. And then they would not play any song from the original album on any of their tours. And I still don't think they do. So there we go.
There you go.
30
Someone
seconds
mentioned
to Mars.
Limp Bizkit earlier.
Oh yeah, $3 bill. I think
It's
that's better.
not their best album.
Controversial.
It's not their best album.
what's
The
the-
next album's their best album. Sadly, the
Significant
one
Other?
with break stuff and all the rest is their better album. It's
Was that not $3 bill?
no,
that was
the
the
$3
one
bill's
after.
got Pollution
That's the one, yeah.
and
No,
Yeah,
what was
the
the
one that comes
$3
after
bills.
that.
I do like $3 bill.
it's a good album, but there's a couple of filler. There is a couple of fillers
Oh,
like
yeah,
Suck.
for sure.
There's that one where he's like, "Shut up!" at the beginning of one track, and the next track's like, "Mellow out," and you're like, "That's just the same entrance."
Yeah.
What we're doing here, Fred.
Yeah.
The
That's a
I
tough one.
I really like that second album.
Significant Other. It had some filler on it as well, though.
But the filler that he had with rap people on it, which I appreciate more than the first one. So it's
Yeah.
like Method Man and shit like that are in together now
Yeah. Oh
and,
yeah.
and stuff. I really like that. But there's a couple of great songs. Like, oh man, that second. Significant Others, the sort of album that I unabashedly say that I really like, even though I know it will garner hate from people that don't like new metal. It's
I just thought of one.
Bonded
Bonded by Blood. Exodus.
Not a big Exodus fan, sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Tried.
Shovelheaded Kill Machine was a great fucking album, but I think their first one was the best, and I don't think they ever hit the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with, I could say Testament, but I don't know. I really liked the one that came out before Dark Roots of Earth. I can't fucking remember the name because I'm terrible with names today. Don't drink a podcast.
Godsmack.
Godsmack, yes.
Godsmack, that album is.
Was that Awake?
the
Was that
album
their first album? What was the first
no,
album?
that's the second album. The
Oh,
first
the second.
album is the one with the girl with the tattoo, and it's the one that rips off 9 Inch Nails.
So of course it was amazing. No.
No, that's I keep saying it. If you ever want to, just type into your YouTube machine 9 Inch Nails Godsmack, and you'll hear how much they rip off Broken. It is honestly, it's Gave Up. It's the song Gave Up.
Oh really?
It's the same riff. It's honestly the same riff. We can't stream that video on here. It's honestly, when we finish here, I will send you the link. It's the same riff, and he sings exactly the same way. Same beats, same cadence.
All right.
It's unbelievable. Davey, this one may be more for you, and you need to help me here because I am conflicted. I'm conflicting myself. Is Taproot's first album their best album? They're another band out with that last album, which wasn't good. They had a string of great albums, but their first album was a new metal album, and then their second album, Welcome, is also it was more kind of alternative one, and then Blue Sky Research, which I think is a fucking amazing album as well. Those first three is their first album their best album.
That's tough. That is tough.
Well, deal with it, bitch.
I like all three. I think initially I would have said Gift was their best album, but I've kind of I listened more to those other albums, like over the last kind of years, a few years or whatever. I don't know. Like some of the melodies on Welcome and Blue Sky Research are so good.
Yeah, he does more melodies, and he's better at them than he does on the first album. But the first album is that guitar tone in that first album.
True.
Oh shit! It's boner material. Fuck your Viagra. Just put on that.
I've been sat here in fear that Dave is going to say Meshuggah. And I'm so glad he hasn't. I'm so glad
he hasn't.
No, I'm so glad he's not going to.
It's not his favourite Meshuggah album. His favourite Meshuggah album is Nothing.
Yeah.
So, we're safe. We're all safe.
I was just scared. Literally, a pang of nervousness hit me as I hit the start string button. What if Dave says Meshuggah? I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Entombed in the chat there. I'd go, Entombed, Left Hand Path. Yeah. Cracking out. Although I did enjoy Wolverine Blues. It's a good album as well, but Left Hand Path is pretty stunning.
So someone mentioned Korn earlier on. This could be interesting.
It's not. I don't know. Oh, come on.
Is Korn's debut album their best album?
No,
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. It's got Blind and Clown and Bald, that's the one. And it's got Jonathan Davis' fucking crazy mental breakdown in the studio, which you cannot deny is incredible.
Harrowing.
Yeah.
Divine.
Of course that was you. Right.
Chutes and Ladders,
it's a great album.
But Issues? Follow the Leader?
Life is Peachy.
Life is Peachy?
Surely.
Actually, I wouldn't even go Life is Peachy.
What?
Once again, this is where me and Dave I think there's a couple of filler tracks on that Life is Peachy. Oh my!
There's a couple of filler tracks on all their albums.
That cover is
not what do you call it?
That's not a filler.
Follow the Leader has 12 empty tracks, I suppose, at the start. So.
Well, yeah, that was always a point of contention with me. It's like, oh great, now I've got to sit through a minute of silence. Thank you very much. Sat there with a CD player, click, 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 click. I got fucking RSI on my finger, thanks, Korn.
I think Follow the Leaders, it might be their best album.
Yeah, I think so too. It just comes together so cohesively.
I really like it.
I'll give you the debut as the most genuine, absolutely, because that's the one with the breakdown and all of the shit they've been through up until that point. And Follow the Leader is what? That's the second album, right? Or is it third? I can't remember.
Third,
right?
Life is Peachy's the second album.
Yeah, that's the one. So they don't have...
Life is Peachy, though, once again, there's a couple of moments on...
There are.
I never remember the name of the song. It's the second favourite scream of all time is on that album.
Yeah.
Which is, Why Don't You Get the Fuck Out of My Face? And then it hits that now, and it's
Jesus,
honestly, it's fucking...
It's unbelievable.
Is that not Good God? No. Is it Good?
Good God is the name of that track.
Yeah.
Adidas.
Yep.
Twist. Chi, Wicked with Deftones.
Oh,
you come with the wicked style, stand from the wicked crow. You act like you know.
All right,
Yeah,
Duncan is rapping on my new metal album.
I really want to listen to that album now.
Me too.
It's a great album. It's a great album.
Stream's over. We're all going to listen
Mr.
to
Rogers as well.
Yeah.
Be my neighbor. Be my neighbor. It's fucking harrowing. But is it all in the family? You've got Ice Cube. You've got fucking. There's so many guest appearances on that album as well. But I love it. Like Children of the Corn.
Oh, yeah.
Freak on a Leash.
Yeah.
It's On is like It's On might have one of my favorite Corn choruses. So, but there's at the end they have that weird song where they play the sitar, which I don't get. Because
That's why it's at the
so
end.
baby, I ask you, what do you want from me? So baby, I ask you, what do you want from me? It's like, what the fuck is going on here, Jonathan Davis? Just stick to.
He's clearly having a child.
But I also enjoy. The weird thing is, I also think Issues is a great album if you remove the singles.
Yeah.
I think I don't really like the singles. I think the rest of the album is fucking great.
Oh, this is a metal podcast based in Scotland. Dave's the.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
Dave. It's called. It's like not nearly enough mention of Scandinavian metal from metal podcast based in Norway. It's like, is it based in Norway?
I mean, it's Norway by way of Scotland.
Okay. But then again,
the Twitch.
I was going to bring up Mayhem.
Norway, but
I was going to bring up Mayhem because their first album is the best Mayhem album, without a doubt. But on the other hand, all of black metal can go in the fucking trash. So
yeah, I mean, we could say that first album is also slightly contentious.
Yeah, a little bit, just a tiny bit.
Oh no!
Le gasp.
Which reminds me, like Paul's in the chat, isn't he? Paul, you watched Lords of Chaos. What did you think?
Just got to like unsub. No, please don't unsub. The thing is, with me and black metal, I agree with everything that they do and why they do the thing. I just hate the lack of production. I just hate it, and I can't get past it. It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I love all the other stuff black metal
it's a shame
does.
because the riffs on that, album are fucking great, and it's like just produce it a bit better, please.
Yeah. Like seriously,
man.
when you add blackened elements into other genres, I fucking love it because it's produced. I can hear what's going on.
We're all
But
in there.
yeah, but when
We're all in there.
I listened to Emperor for the longest time, and I just fell off because it's just like, it gives me a fucking headache, you know. I'm sorry, but and I know that's the point, but it's like for me it just doesn't work, and it's just a personal thing. I'm not saying that black metal is overrated or anything like that at all. It's just not for me.
The unfrozen caveman lawyer. It's like they called their answering machine and recorded an album.
It probably did. The thing is, though, what I don't get is they made it a part of their sound, but they only made it a part of their sound because they're recording in the north of buttfuck nowhere, Norway, in their grandma's basement, probably on a recording machine, on an answering machine. And it's just like, black metal is the most versatile. It is! I agree. It can go into
100%
anything.
agree.
Yeah.
Everything I've heard black metal put into, I love.
Yeah. I've done it.
When it's just black metal.
I've done it.
Thing
Yeah, I put it into either the Betrayer songs. If you listen to our first song on the first EP, halfway through the chorus, it does this weird black metal chord, and I do it up and down the neck, and that came straight out of black metal, and I'm not kidding it. But the lo-fi stuff, and that's the stuff I was introduced to first with black metal. It just turned me off for the rest of it. That being said, Dimmu Borgir are one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, I mean, there are bands that have that. I mean, like.
What image you just painted?
Like you listen, right? The thing is, like,
Behemoth, yeah.
so
I love 'em.
would you? Yeah, I was going to say you listen to the Satanist
Oh, jeez,
as
that
an album. That is well produced. That is well produced black metal, and it is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I listened to like fucking all that lo-fi pish, Laster, if they're still a band. I listened to that, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I don't. It's something I just don't get. I understand trying to make your music sound abrasive, but we mentioned Calculating Infinity earlier on. Calculating Infinity is an album designed specifically to give you no room to hook onto anything and just be so viscerally aggressive.
Yeah.
And right there all the way through it, and it is produced really fucking well. You can do it.
That band we reviewed last week, Pupil Slicer, abrasive as fuck. produced really well.
Pupil Slicer should be on everyone's radar
Fuck.
because they are
Go listen to
fucking
Pupil Slicer.
good. They are good.
So good.
I'm gonna just check. I'm doing my last.
Oh, I
sense
cannot
check
play
here
this song
before
on stream. La 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 la. Okay, we're good. No, it's doing it again. Stop it. This is a fucking playlist, you bastard.
Why are you playing songs?
It's in the background. Just like the videos we have on YouTube. Exclamation point metal. In the chat, please.
But right.
Okay,
Here's
production
my
doesn't have to be
counter.
perfect.
Here's my counter.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
here's my
shit.
counter to that.
Oh, shit.
Production doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
But
Not by a long
production,
shot.
yeah. But if I can't hear what the guitars are doing, and I can't hear what the drums are doing, and I can't hear what the bass is doing at all, what is the point of recording it?
Yeah.
What's it? I don't understand. If you make your music specifically to the point that you're not able to actually hear what the instruments are playing over the white tinny noise that is favoured, then it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the excuse that they use, we want it to, sound unapproachable and all the rest. Well, you can't critique music that you can't make out at all. Even the most heavy death metal bands, you can hear the chord changes and you can hear the fucking drumming and all the rest. So the argument that it's trying to make it abrasive, you can make abrasive music without making it sound deliberately bad, which is what they do. And it is a stylistic choice. If you watch that, what's that, Into the Light documentary, you listen to that, you hear them talk about how they buy the shittiest amps, they buy the shittiest mics, they jam them right into the amplifier so you can't pick up the sounds. It is purposely made to sound bad. So if I call it bad, then they should be happy about that because that's what they want. They want it to purposely sound bad.
They want it to
I
sound
don't
that way.
understand it.
And that's
I don't
fine.
understand
It's
it.
just not for me. Like I was saying about Pupil Slicer, the first time I heard the first song, I was like, this is produced like crap. I literally thought that. I listened to it more, I was like, actually, this production suits this sound so fucking well. It's not perfect. It's rough around the edges, but
Yeah,
it suits it. But I mean, with black metal, you could do the similar thing. You can make a rough around the edges
Yeah,
production,
Paul,
and it would
Paul,
be great.
I never like
Atmosphere.
everything I say. Yeah, Paul, everything I say is personal choice.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying you can't like it, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't listen to it, and I'm not saying the band shouldn't do it. What I'm saying is, to me, it sounds shit. So, and I won't change my opinion on that. I've yet to hear a band that record like that sound like something I want to listen to. So, yeah, I mean, it's all complete personal choice, and there is clearly a fixed fandom in there who hate me because whenever I talk about black metal, the first thing I say is all the black metal bands I like are the black metal bands that black metal fans don't like. So
Yeah, that's the problem, is it? Just like was mentioned up above, like the people, the cult black metal people are the fans. They're just the worst. I was playing a gig with my previous band here
I
in
know
Norway.
hardcore fans can be pretty bad.
Yeah, like 10 years ago, and this black metal dude, leather jacket, black t-shirt, almost had corpse plate on, I swear. Big fucking inverted cross on his chest. Listening to us going, yeah, okay, this is alright. We're playing, it's a band called Profania, that you can't even get it on Spotify anymore, but it's sort of like progressive thrash, we called ourselves. So it was pretty fucking heavy. We played on 7-string guitars back then. So it was heavy, down-tuned, all that stuff. And he was like, yeah, okay, got onto it. As soon as we got into a clean part, he stood up, turned, and left. And like, because there's some fucking clean parts in your music. It's like, no, it's not for me. Like, okay, that's a bit... Didn't get it. Do not get it. No.
Right,
I mean, it's not so much of being a dick. I don't care if you don't like the music I'm meeting. It's the elitism thing. Is just like, exactly. Like, just stop. I don't give a shit.
It's everywhere though. It's not just black metal.
It's not,
like
no.
the thing that I love, like the thing I love most out with music is horror movies. And horror fandom is more toxic than metal fandom. It's fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
It's not a horror movie. Well, I mean, that's subjective. It's not a horror movie though, is it? Didn't scare me. Well, yeah, nothing much scares me anymore, but if we're throwing that out then. Yeah.
Oh, that one you made me watch the last time, that fucking got me a couple of times.
What did I make you watch? What have I done?
What was it called?
Me?
Yeah, the one you sent me.
Me?
Yeah. Can't remember the name
This
of it.
guy sitting here, how dare you?
The Banishing, that's the one.
Oh yeah, the thingamajig one.
Yeah.
Pretty good, eh?
It was great, yeah. But scared me a couple of times. I was like, oh fuck, you know, I'm like, you bastard, you got me.
Yeah, towards the end it really ramps up. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's everywhere. I think like toxic fandom exists in anywhere where people are super passionate about one specific thing and they don't like the idea of it becoming popular. The worst thing that could ever happen to black metal is black metal to become mainstream.
That'd be
They
hilarious.
just couldn't handle it. They just couldn't handle it, and it would be interesting to see how those arguments fall away.
Yeah.
You know, those ones about, you know, if everyone all of a sudden liked black metal like tomorrow with the sound that it had and all the rest, and they started selling millions of albums, you'd see how very quickly the people that were passionate about that band or that scene would, because they want to listen to something that's deliberately underground or to the side. Not all of them, let's stress that, but you know, a large portion of them. I have officially exhausted my, because the rest are all bands that have just got 2 albums. So
that's not really
there's
fair,
no fun
is
in
it?
a 2-band album. Although, Apartment 26, Dave. Woo, love them, man. I wonder, are they on fucking iTunes?
Someone mentioned Mastodon in the chat.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say you're fucking wrong because
I think it was Raven. I think Raven mentioned Mastodon.
Yeah, but is everyone remembering that Mastodon's first album might not be the album that you think Mastodon's first album is?
Yeah, and does everybody remember that The Hunter is Mastodon's best album?
Hunter is not Mastodon's best album.
Fuck off,
No.
it is.
Leviathan.
Oh, I forgot about that. No, The Hunter. No.
Is it though?
Yep.
Yep.
Crack the Sky for me.
Oh.
Ooh.
I love that album. I love it even
too.
as an instrumental. Blood Mountain's also great. There you go. Like, Mastodon might be the argument for Mastodon don't have a bad album.
Right.
Like, at all. And all of them, standalone, could be considered fucking great fucking
Yeah.
albums.
Even that Emperor of Sand one, Emperor of Sand?
It grew on me. It took a while, but
Yeah,
it grew
it
on
took
me.
a while, but it did. Yeah, the first time I heard it, I was like, it's not really, it's alright, but yeah, over time it was like, this is fucking amazing.
Paul switching you quick. Piss off, The Hunter. Leviathan. Leviathan's got the whole Moby Dick concept.
Yeah, it's got all that, but The Hunter is just, I love the opening and I love the way it carries that on throughout the whole album. And I just, every fucking drum, every drum part on The Hunter is a fill, and I love it. There's no...
I've not listened to Crack the Sky in a couple. I'm going to let that and then Korn when we hang up.
Yeah.
From the sky, drowning demons. Fucking love it.
I thought you were going all Gojira for a second there.
Well, I was a bit. See, notice how none of us mentioned Gojira because the
See,
best album is from Mars
we
to
would have
Sirius.
mentioned it if we inverted the topic. Band's album that are their worst one. I would have gone with Gojira. The first album is the worst one.
Well,
I
the
said
first
they
I
grew into
think-
their sound as they went along. Definitely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Gojira is... Oh,
Paul, I was at the same gig.
Mastodon's
So-
Tool.
Tool, yeah, at the ACCC,
what?
which was
That's
fucking
not
nuts.
a real venue.
It wasn't. It's a terrible venue for both those bands, but they were amazing. So
Can't stand Gojira, no way! Oh, well, that's just your choice. Oh well. I love Gojira.
how many times do you listen to that new song? Be honest.
A lot.
Yeah.
Loads.
I've actually went back and listened to Another World a lot as well.
And what about? Can I just take a guess that all of a sudden your opinions on it have started to change?
Yeah, they have. They have.
Told you, contextual, Dave. Stick with me. Stick with me, and just admit that Slipknot had an album out before Slipknot.
Oh, I could really throw a chain in the works now and say Ghost's first album was their best, but not the Ghost you're thinking about. Ghost had to change their name to Ghost BC because of a Polish,
that's right.
yeah, because of a Polish death metal band that are fucking amazing if you haven't heard of them. And their first album
never
is
heard of them.
I will send you their album. It is unbelievable.
Textures.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that.
No.
I have their first album.
I
and
want
didn't
just
buy
to
the
see
second.
Dave's face
No.
get raged here.
No.
No.
Polars.
Polars is a good album,
Polars
but
is-
not the best album.
Polars is the best album, Dave.
You're a liar.
Oh,
Polars is the best album, Dave. best, Dave.
Ghost BBC.
It's the
No.
best.
Is that how you interview your producers? Your
No,
directors?
I'd like. The thing is, like when you've known Dave, as long as I have known Dave, I know which buttons to push.
I've known
And,
Dave for 8 years
I
now.
will push those buttons,
Jesus.
Kyle, because I am not a nice guy. I keep saying that to everyone. Like, you show me anything that I know can maybe rile you up a little bit, and I will fucking double down on that like a motherfucker. No, I'm with Dave
Oh
on that
yes.
one.
Early decapitated before the accident was the best. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
I can't say that
Um,
their latest albums haven't been amazing though. I've really enjoyed them, but I agree.
Their debut is not my favourite though. Nihility
Yeah. there you go.
or Organic Hallucinosis is probably my two favourites. Love that band.
Accidents can change a
I-
band.
There's no fight here, Raven. Duncan and Dave have known each other for
fighting
22
over-
years. I've known them both
Guys,
collectively
guys,
for
it's
8.
alright.
So it's like, it's not really gonna.
Yeah,
There's no winning
Trust
here.
me, trust me. Me and Dave have said a lot worse to each other. I was going to say, like, accidents can really change a bit. Like, Baroness is a great example of that. Like, you listen to the Yellow and Green album, it's maybe the best thing they've ever done. It's the most polished album, and then you listen to the Purple album, it's not as good.
What?
Purple album is not as good as the Green and Yellow album.
Aye.
Don't know how else to say that. It's not as good, Dave.
We need Dave's what face as an emote.
Yeah, well, it's not as good.
Purple is their best album.
No. Green and Yellow's a,
Yep.
Green and Yellow is a double album, which
Yeah,
I
fuck
usually
that.
hate.
Fuck
but
double
works.
albums.
Works.
Fuck them.
They're
No.
Fragile, best album.
No.
Not the first. Double album, fucking incredible.
Yep,
Do not
Managed
like
Nails,
double
yep.
albums. I just do not.
It's more music.
It's too much.
It's too much.
It becomes
That's why
almost.
it's a double album.
It's
You can
water, it
hit
becomes
pause,
watered down. No.
go
no.
and get a drink.
You will not
come
convince
back
me.
and
You
hit
will not.
play.
No.
Paul, with his hot takes, Baroness are a bit pish.
That's like the mildest
Paul,
take.
Paul needs to get back under his bridge because he's a troll.
I like how Starry's like purple is the best color.
It's my favourite colour.
Oh, I do like
Purple
it.
is my favourite colour.
I do have a purple
But-
pillow up here, way back there.
Oh, give me a pillow.
Give me a pillow. Only if you
Paul
bite
says. Paul says next Twitch is worst debut.
it. Who? What?
As
Or
a
a
topic,
topic.
I would love to do that because I think that might be one of our floaty topics.
Worst debut
It
album.
was worst debut, and the other one that we're talking about was like I think bands that were one and done. You know,
Yep.
like albums which are like, oh my god, this is incredible! Can't wait to hear album number 2, and then they're like, we've split up. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I might be in
At
one
the
of
risk
those
of going,
bands.
at the risk of going all emo, Finch.
Finch.
Oh, Finch.
Finch's first album, What It Is to Burn, is
There's a shout.
fucking great, and everything
There's
they
a
did
shout.
after that was not great.
Yeah. Yep.
So there you go. Paul likes the idea of one and done.
When I'm done.
I think
That's
there's
been-
there's a lot of bands out there that just had that one album. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, and then they split up.
Yeah.
A memory from another lifetime. You know what? One and done and variations on that has been mentioned a lot in the Discord and stuff. So I think maybe that's probably the way to go for next time.
When I'm
Could
done.
be-
If you're
it
not
could
in
be-
the
could be
Discord,
real fun.
get in there! Exclamation point Discord.
Do the thing that does the thing.
Do it.
That does the thing
Yeah.
that makes the thing.
There's also a link in the comments.
So yeah, I still go back and listen to that Finch album.
It's a good album.
It's a really, really, really good album. For the time. Got to stress that for the time when that sort of music was really popular, it's not so popular now. Yeah, like see when I was, because I originally I started doing my list and then I started going off piste. Because obviously I listened to a shitload of metal, but I listened to a lot of other stuff. And I started going down weird like 2000 indies roots and all the rest, and like I had a list of bands and I was like, that they will not let me talk about any of this. This does not
You were
even
right.
like I'm surprised I got kicked back when I said A Perfect Circle earlier on in the darkness. This will not. I'm glad that I didn't. I am glad that I did not.
That's a good name, actually. You are the sorcerer.
I had the Zootons.
The
You ever listen to the
Zootons.
Zootons? I love the Zootons.
Oh my
that
God.
first album, Who Killed the Zootons? Amazing. There's
Society
saxophone in
killed them
that.
because they suck.
That first album. It was the first album before they did the second album with that Valerie cover, which went really popular.
Oh,
Yeah, the Zootons. You don't know. I love that first album. They have a bit of sax, Dave.
you're not going to sell it to me with a bit of sax. It's not going to happen.
You can sell me old with a bit of sax, but
Old.
That's a great
with a bit of
sax. Sing quite a few songs.
Yep.
It's sexy.
I'm glad you have kids because all these dad jokes are totally qualified.
Yeah. I have about 1 million. So there we go. I don't know. I like this.
I think I'm done. I think I'm out.
I'm
out.
done as well.
Just-
Yeah, we've done
think I'm
3 hours and 20 minutes, so I'm going to say that is fine. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we're back in 1 month's time. So what? The last
Yes.
Wednesday of the month, I think is what we said.
Last
I think that's
Wednesday
what we're
of
gonna
month. Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be
I
this
think that's what we're
stream,
gonna do.
doing this stuff with these people. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Just like this
So
time.
join
And
us.
we're going to be
Yeah,
doing
be
best
back.
one and done.
Best
It
one and
looks like
done.
One and done.
Saxon.
Plenty of time.
You know what? My mum loves Saxon, and I never got it. So maybe I'll call her and say, "What was Saxon's first album the best?" And she'll be like, "Fuck off, Kyle." It's fucking. What time is it in England right now? It is midnight. Why the fuck are you calling me talking about Saxon? Why don't you fucking just stay in Norway?
I was on a Twitch stream, Mum.
Yeah, right. She
I was chatting to
subscribes
my
to me on here.
Twitchies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, where the fuck is she? Come on. I want to know about Saxon.
Yeah, it's midnight in Scotland. It is 1 in the morning in Norway. And you guys are all fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And we kept the pop chat to a bare minimum.
How did you manage it?
Did you have no idea the amount of sentences I could have segued a little pop track into that I stopped myself from doing?
Right. Well, with that,
The line between you having a conversation about metal and me overrunning it with shite is so fine.
yep. Rip
So-
Daft
it's way
Punk.
for thin.
Daft Punk will be missed.
Cheers, Paul.
Oh yeah, I mean, talk about news that kicked me right in the stones. That's one of them. I love Daft Punk. But then I was also thinking,
years.
well, this is what I was also thinking. The last time they released an album was like fucking 8 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So whilst I am upset that it happened, at the same time I'm like that. I have the back catalogue.
Yeah. We all do by this time because they haven't released anything in about a decade.
Exactly. So
They played live like 3 times their entire career as well, which was actually great.
that's the dream.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to
That's
play a
the
gig,
dream,
and the
to
entire
be
world goes, fucking when?
To be so popular that you this is what you do. This is how you transfer what we are doing into a monetary thing. Is you build up your rabid fan base through doing this sort of stuff first, to the point that you can eventually say, right, I want to do a show here, and you have a preset audience prepared to come out and see you.
Yeah. Which ones, Discordia? Which ones? I want to know.
That's another thing we've talked about. That was another topic somewhere down the line, is bands that we wish we had seen live.
Yep.
Yeah, he travelled so many miles to see Ramstein. I flew to Poland from Norway to go see Vader because they hadn't been to Norway in like 7 years. And I was like, you know what? Fuck them. I'm coming to see you. And then the summer they did that, they came to Norway. So I saw them twice that year.
They are just fucking with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
You played with Vader. Nice. I love that band. That's so good. Right then, with that sounds
Nice.
like the end.
Yeah.
And now
Thank you.
the end is near. Don't you fucking roll your eyes at me, Buchanan.
Caught that, did you?
I will drive to Grangemouth and I will shake your hand
Oh no, by one day.
after
Fuck,
touching my
that sucks.
penis.
First time here. Well, welcome back. I tend to do metal stuff on this stream. I'm the one that
Yeah,
owns
support Kyle. Support
I-
Kyle's stream.
I make tons of music that's safe for streamers and or for listening to if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, I do metal performances and stuff on the stream, and I'll be doing one this Friday. It'll be fun. These two will be here watching on the other side of the screen.
Yes, we will be.
Duncan here, he streams on Sunday nights, so please give him a follow. T-Puts Cast, if you could give yourself a shout out in the...
TPUTSCAST. I
Yeah.
play games. I
It
don't
is
know what one I'm
games.
doing
It
this.
doesn't
I
know
think
what
I'm
he's
doing the new Resident Evil demo
Nice.
this Sunday, because apparently it's pants-shittingly scary.
Oh, nice.
I'll be the judge of that, or should I say, my pants will be.
Wear the brown ones. Dave runs Metal Epidemic, and he's Mr. Bossman, as Paul has generously typed in the chat many times. Check us out on YouTube, !metal, where Dave puts out tons of videos all about metal. Duncan is gone.
See you guys.
See you, Duncan. There's also metalepidemic.com, is it?
MetalEpidemic.com, yes.
Metalepidemic.com.
I went to type, and as soon as I went to type, it switched my camera off.
Nice.
Yes, the people that are writing Teapots Cast, that's right, yes.
Great.
Sorry.
Dunk
Follow
is
that.
dead.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Dunk is dead. Rip. Oh my god, it's a zombie.
Yeah.
Fuck, kill him. So
Cheers,
check out the
Aidan. Thank
YouTube.
you.
There's reviews, reactions. There's the podcast as well, which is a lot
Yep.
like this, but not as long. Sometimes.
And there's music. We play music on the podcast.
Yeah,
as well,
there's
to get
actual
your new
music you can
tracks
listen
from
to.
bands that are coming up.
Yes.
So.
And it's great to check all that out. This has been a great second time Twitch stream.
Yep. Thank you.
Had a great time.
Back next month.
Next time when we'll be back in a month. I'll be back on
Yes.
here on Friday and every Friday after that playing guitar or bass, one of these. I'm going to be debuting a song I have not yet released on Friday, so come back for that. It's a
So you were going
9-string.
to say not yet written.
Not
I
yet
was
written.
debuting the song not yet right.
Yeah.
I would have had written it, but I'll just make up on the spot. We'll be fine.
It's my first 9-string guitar song, so it's got something like that.
Ooh.
Nice.
It'll be fun.
Tickle my tits to Tuesday, huh?
Nice. Thanks very much, Caveman Lawyer. It's been amazing meeting you today and everybody else. And we're going to go raid a very old friend of mine. Not in, as Duncan said, not in time, not in years, but he's not.
Oh, yeah,
he's,
yeah.
he's no older than I am, but I've known
So
him
you
for
said you were
25 years.
raiding. Don't blame it on me. I'm not raiding
We're
it.
raiding. We're doing the raid. We're
We're doing it right now.
Yeah, we're doing it. So we're gonna go raid my best friend in the world, one of them, Flaming Monocle. He's an evil villain character, Victorian evil villain. So he twirls his mustache and he's fucking hilarious. So let's go give him a raid. It's gonna be awesome. Thanks everybody for everything we've been doing today. Thanks for hanging out and chatting and everything. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave and Duncan, for joining. And we'll be
You're
back
welcome.
in a month.
Pleasure.
Please do check out the YouTube. It's fantastic. We promise you won't be disappointed. And if you are, then it's not our fucking fault. That's on you. All right. It's been great. See you later.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hit the raid button now, please. Oh, my God. And stop.